Chapter 238. Well, then I thank your Highness Wang Kai for your kind intentions. Of course, I'm willing to join your Highness personal guard. Sister Yuer, what about you? Hearing Wang Kai's question, Shui Bing-er's face couldn't help but reveal a trace of joy. She quickly agreed, and then looked at Shui Yuer beside her. Of course, I'm also willing to join your Highness Wang Kai's personal guard. Furthermore, I'm very willing to develop a relationship with your Highness Wang Kai that surpasses friendship. Compared to Shui Bing-er, Shui Yuer was younger, but her thoughts were more open and proactive. Hearing Shui Bing-er's question, Shui Yuer looked at Wang Kai with admiration and answered softly. Very good, Miss Bing-yuer. I believe this will be the best choice you've made in your lives. I will definitely not treat you unfairly, and you will definitely not regret your choice in the future. By the way, when can you report to the Martial Soul Sacred City? Seeing Shui Bing-er and Shui Yuer's actions, Wang Kai nodded in satisfaction and then continued to ask, Your Highness Wang Kai, actually, we've reached the age where we can graduate. The main reason we've been staying in the Skywater Academy is to represent the Academy in this Soul Master Tournament. Now, since your Highness Wang Kai is willing to let us join your personal guard, then after the tournament is over, we'll apply to graduate from the Academy and then come to the Martial Soul Sacred City to look for you. Hearing Wang Kai's question, Shui Bing-er smiled and answered, Well, then I'm looking forward to your arrival. This token is for you. After you graduate, you can bring it to the Martial Soul Sacred City to look for me at the Green Xian Hall. Of course, if you have any trouble during this period of time, you can also take this token to the nearby Martial Soul Branch Hall or Martial Soul Branch Hall and ask for the help of our Martial Soul Hall Soul Masters. Wang Kai said with a smile as he took out a golden token from his spatial ring and handed it to the sisters. Thank you, Holy Son. It would be impolite for me to refuse. Taking the token from Wang Kai's hand, she thanked him again. Your Highness Wang Kai, was that your spatial soul tool? At this time, Shui Yuer, who was beside Shui Bing, also looked curiously at the token that appeared out of thin air in Wang Kai's hand. That's right, Yuer. You're really smart. Wang Kai smiled faintly as he looked at Shui Yuer. After that, he continued to explain, You're right. This is a spatial soul tool. Furthermore, if you like it, I can reward you and your sister with a spatial soul tool that's 10 cubic meters in size when you become soul sages. Really? After hearing Wang Kai's promise, Shui Yuer's tone suddenly became excited. She stared at Wang Kai and asked expectantly, Of course. Don't tell me you don't trust my credibility? Wang Kai answered confidently. Even though soul tool technology still existed on the Doa continent, the forging techniques for high-grade soul tools like spatial soul tools had already been lost. The remaining soul tools were basically passed down from ancient times or treasures that had been excavated from ancient ruins. Not to mention soul sages, even titled Doa, might not necessarily possess a spatial soul tool. It was no wonder that Shui Yuer was so excited. However, to Wang Kai, a spatial soul tool with a space of 10 cubic meters was only worth 100,000 points, which was 10 origin points. Right now, Wang Kai already had more than 1,000 origin points. Spending 20 points to gain the favor of Shui Bing-er and Shui Yuer was such a good deal. Of course not. How can I not trust your Highness Wang Kai? It's just that spatial soul tools are too rare, and I'm a little too excited. After hearing Wang Kai's question, Shui Yuer hurriedly tried to explain herself. Space-type soul tools aren't that rare to me. In fact, I can even give you soul bones as long as you work hard. Seeing Shui Yuer's anxious expression, Wang Kai smiled faintly again. After that, he threw out another piece of important news. What, Your Highness Wang Kai, did I hear wrongly? Did you just say soul bones? At this moment, even Shui Bing-er couldn't remain calm and asked anxiously. If it was a spatial soul tool, it was just a dispensable auxiliary treasure to soul masters. Although it was attractive to Shui Bing, who was more mature, it wasn't enough to make her lose her composure like this. However, a soul bone was different. To any soul cultivator, A soul bone was the most precious and useful treasure. Even if it was the most ordinary thousand-year soul bone, it could still increase a soul master's soul power purity, total soul power, physique, and potential. It was a treasure that every soul master pursued. How could Shui Bing not be excited when she heard that she had the chance to obtain a soul bone? One had to know that unless one was lucky or was a core member of a large organization, even two or more soul Daw might not be able to obtain a soul bone. Just like in Skywater Academy, only the soul Daw, who was the dean, had a 1,000-year soul bone. Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. What I said just now was a soul bone. Looking at the shocked Shui Bing, and Shui Yua, Wang Kai smiled and nodded again, repeating his words. To Wang Kai, after killing Dugabo, he had already found 3 soul bones from Dugabo's corpse. The price of a 1,000-year soul bone was only a few tens of thousands of points in the system store, which was just a few origin points. Therefore, soul bones were very precious treasures to soul masters on the Doloa continent. To Wang Kai, soul bones were just a commodity that could be casually exchanged, although it required a certain amount of points. However, unlike spatial soul tools, soul bones are more precious. Therefore, even if you choose to join my personal guards, I won't give you soul bones directly. You will need to make a certain amount of contributions. However, these contributions are only required for outsiders. If it's my family, it's naturally different. If you are willing to marry me and become a member of my big family, then I will definitely prepare suitable soul bones for you in the future. Of course, you don't have to force yourselves. If you don't want to join my big family, then it's fine. We can maintain a close relationship as friends. When you have made enough contributions, I will definitely not be stingy with my rewards. What do you think? Although soul bones were very ordinary to Wang Kai, they were very precious to soul masters. Wang Kai naturally wouldn't simply give the soul bones to Shui Bing, and Shui Yu. Using the soul bones to win their hearts was the best use. Chapter 239. Your Highness Wang Kai. In fact, even if you didn't give me the soul bone, I would still be very willing to join your big family. This is because you really likes your Highness Wang Kai from the bottom of her heart. Sister, what about you? Didn't you say that you like your Highness Wang Kai before? After hearing Wang Kai's words, Shui Yu first softly answered Wang Kai's question before smiling at Shui Bing. Sister, what are you talking about? When did I say that I like your Highness Wang Kai? Seeing that Shui Yu had exposed her thoughts, Shui Bing's pretty face turned red, but she subconsciously denied it. Sister, don't be shy. Your Highness Wang Kai, sister's personality is like this. However, she definitely wants to receive your love and care. At this moment, Shui Yu didn't let Shui Bing off and continued to stab her. Yes, you Thank you for your reminder. Of course I can tell. Bing I love you. Wang Kai looked at Shui Bing's beautiful sapphire-like eyes with a doting expression and spoke his mind. Facing such a pair of beautiful and cute sisters like Shui Bing and Shui Yu, he would be lying to himself if he said that he didn't like them. If he was a devoted person, he might have reluctantly rejected Shui Bing and Shui Yu's love. However, Wang Kai was different. As a broad-minded person who loved everyone, Wang Kai's strategy for such matters was very simple and crude. I want them all. Yes, Your Highness Wang Kai. In fact, sister is right. I also hope to be with you. Are you willing to accept us, Your Highness Wang Kai? After hearing Wang Kai's confession, Shui Bing finally broke the barriers in her heart and boldly spoke her true feelings for Wang Kai. Of course, Bing welcome to my big family. After speaking, Wang Kai took a step forward and kissed Shui Bing's cheek lightly. Your Highness Wang Kai, I want one too. Looking at the reward that Wang Kai gave to her, Shui Yu's eyes also revealed a look of desire. She then raised her head and looked at Wang Kai eagerly. Of course. You come, this is my reward for you. After saying that, Wang Kai also leaned down and kissed Shui Yu's white cheek. Right, Bing it's still early today. Do you want me to bring you to see your future sisters? After dinner, it was only 7 p.m. Seeing that it was still early, Wang Kai continued to send out invitations. Of course. However, we might not be able to spend the night at your place because there are competitions waiting for us every day. Hearing Wang Kai's words, Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's faces were full of expectation. For such an outstanding man like His Highness Wang Kai, how outstanding would the women around him be? Would they have the qualifications to be recognized by them and officially become a member of His Highness Wang Kai's big family? Shui Bing, and Shui Yu, were both full of anticipation and apprehension. It's all right, don't be nervous. Your four sisters are very approachable and good ladies. You will definitely be able to get along well with them. Let's go. Wang Kai seemed to have noticed Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's nervousness. He gently stroked Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's silky blue hair to comfort them. Then, he held Shui Bing's wrist with his left hand and Shui Yu's jade-like arm with his right hand. After paying for the meal, they walked towards the green Xian Hall under the envious gazes of others. Shui Yiling, Qingli, come. I have brought 2 new sisters for you today. After returning to the green Xian Hall, Wang Kai called the 4 ladies into the main hall with a smile and said to them, Big brother Wang Kai, did you find a new sister for us? That's amazing. That's right. Are they our new sisters? Chihiro Snow revealed a beautiful and sweet smile as she sized up Shui Bing, and Shui Yu. She then raised her head and asked Wang Kai, Of course. Come, let me introduce your new sisters to everyone. After nodding his head and answering Chihiro Snow's question, Wang Kai then introduced Shui Bing, and Shui Yu to everyone. Your new sisters are a team of Flower Soul Masters from the Skywater Academy. The one on the right is a little cold and has the temperament of an ice goddess. She is the elder sister, Shui Bing. The one on the left is quiet and cute, and her temperament is also more lively. She is a younger sister, Shui Yu. Their strength is also not bad. Bing is a soul king at rank 51, and Yu is a soul ancestor at rank 47. Their martial souls are both top-notch ice-type martial souls, the Ice Phoenix. Not only that, but I also want to tell everyone a little secret. As sisters, Bing, and Yu can use martial soul fusion skills. Furthermore, their martial soul fusion skills are very powerful. They can even threaten soul sages. Of course, I also want to say one more thing. Don't belittle yourselves. They're a little older than you. So if you only look at your talent is actually not inferior to Bing and Yu's. While smiling at Chihiro Snow and the other 3 girls, Wang Kai also introduced Shui Bing, and Shui Yu to everyone in detail. Threatened soul sages? Sister Bing, and Sister Yu are really amazing. Looking at Shui Bing, and Shui Yu, Dai Qingli couldn't help but praise them. Although she and Zhu Yiling could also use martial soul fusion skills, they were only soul ancestors. Therefore, even if they used martial soul fusion skills, Dai Qingli and Zhu Yiling could barely fight against the most ordinary mid-stage soul emperors. After hearing about Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's strength, Chihiro Snow and the other 3 girls basically accepted them. Because of Wang Kai's strong physique and endurance, as members of Wang Kai's big family, Chihiro Snow and the others never objected to Wang Kai taking in more outstanding girls as his sisters. On the contrary, they were very welcoming of new sisters. However, Chihiro Snow, Zhu Yiling, Dai Qingli, and Ning Yuxian were also very prideful girls. Although they were very willing to have more sisters to help them share the pressure, they definitely wouldn't allow those vases or ordinary girls to join Wang Kai's big family. It was clear that although Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's appearances were slightly inferior to the 4 girls, they were still far above the standards of the 4 girls. At the same time, their talent and strength were also recognized by everyone. Therefore, they didn't have the slightest bit of unwillingness or objection to the addition of Shui Bing, and Shui Yu. In Hello, little sister Bing, and little sister Yu. Welcome to join us and become a member of His Highness Wang Kai's big family. Looking at Shui Bing, and Shui Yu with a satisfied expression, Chihiro Snow took a step forward as the mistress of the house. She gave a friendly smile and then extended her hands to represent her acknowledgement and welcome. Chapter 240. Thank you, sister. However, how should we address you? Seeing that Chihiro Snow and the other three beauties had accepted them so quickly, the nervousness in Shui Bing, and Shui Yu's hearts had completely dissipated. They then politely asked for Chihiro Snow's name. Sister Bing, Sister Yu, I am Wang Kai's official wife, Chihiro Snow. The three of them are Wang Kai's wives, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling. While introducing herself to the sisters, Chihiro Snow then turned around to introduce Zhu Yiling and the other three beauties to the sisters. Sister Yuxian, Sister Qingli, Sister Yiling, hello. After greeting Qianren Xue, Shui Bing, and Shui Bing, also took the initiative to introduce themselves to Ning Yuxian and the other two girls. Sister Bing, Sister Yu, I hope that everyone could get along well in the future. Seeing that everyone had finished greeting each other, Chihiro Snow once again stepped forward to express her goodwill. For sisters, thank you. Please take care of me in the future. Hearing Chihiro Snow's blessings, the sisters hurriedly revealed a sweet smile and softly agreed. Since Chihiro Snow and the rest had already accepted the sisters, Wang Kai also heaved a sigh of relief. To any man, if his wives in a big family were to quarrel with each other and have a fire in the backyard, it would definitely be an unpleasant and even maddening matter. Fortunately, Chihiro Snow and the rest were well-educated, well-behaved, and cute girls. They did not get jealous because of the sisters' arrival, nor did they bring any trouble to Wang Kai. Of course, Wang Kai also knew that the root of all this actually came from his powerful attack and endurance. He could perfectly satisfy the physical and spiritual needs and emptiness of Chihiro Snow and the rest. Facing such a powerful man like Wang Kai, Chihiro Snow and the rest also bore a lot of pressure. Therefore, not only did they not reject Wang Kai finding new sisters for them, but they were also very welcoming. As long as they were not the kind of people who were just there to make up the numbers, it was fine. And Sister Bing, and Sister Yu, approximately when will you guys move into Greenxian Hall? When the time comes, we will be ready to welcome your arrival. At this time, Chihiro Snow also opened her mouth to ask again. Sister Jinxue, Yu, and I are currently participating in the Continental Advanced Elite Academy tournament. After the tournament, we will apply to graduate and then join Greenxian Hall. Seeing Chihiro Snow's question, Shui Bing, answered in detail. And I understand. Then let us welcome little sister Yu, and little sister Bing, to join us. It's a little late now. If we stay for too long, there might be people gossiping. Little sister Bing, and little sister Yu should hurry back. Revealing an intellectual smile, Chihiro Snow also carefully reminded them. Thank you for your concern, Sister Jinxue. We will take our leave first. Your Highness Wang Kai, sisters, will meet again. Sister Bing, and Sister Yu, see you later. I wish you all the best in the Soul Master Tournament. After bidding farewell to Wang Kai and the rest of the girls, Shui Bing, and Shui Yu also left Greenxian Hall and walked toward the guest house where the Skyward Academy team was staying. Brother Wang Kai, you are really amazing. You actually found 2 new sisters for us. After the sisters left, Chihiro Snow leaned towards Wang Kai's ear and said with a trace of jealousy, Shui, isn't it good to have a few more sisters to help you? It's not like you don't know your husband's abilities, right? However, Shui, Yiling, and Qingli have all performed very well today. I will definitely reward you. With a mischievous smile on his face, Wang Kai went to his bedroom under the encirclement of Chihiro Snow and the other 3 beauties. After warming up, an extremely intense and exciting battle was about to begin. Putting aside the battle in the Greenxian Hall for the time being, on the other side, Shui Bing and Shui Yu had also returned to the hotel. As soon as they entered the room, Shui Wu and the other members of the Sky Water Academy team had already surrounded them. Sister Bing, what did Prince Wang Kai talk to you about? Yes. Captain, you were gone for so long. What did you do? Sister Yu, the captain is not willing to reveal. Can you tell us why Prince Wang Kai looked for you? Seeing Sister Shui Bing, the rest of the Skywater Academy team members suddenly became gossipy and asked one thing after another. Shui Bing face couldn't help but become slightly hot. It's really nothing. We just had a meal together, and then Prince Wang Kai invited us to join the Martial Spirit Palace and become a member of his personal guard. Looking at the team members around her, Shui Bing couldn't just ignore them and could only tell them part of the truth. Sister Bing, did you agree with him? At this time, Shui Wu also curiously asked again. Yes, we agreed. Anyway, this matter couldn't be concealed, so Shui Bing openly told the news to the other team members. Wow, the personal guard of the Martial Spirit Palace's holy son. Sister Bing, Sister Yu, you are so lucky. Yes. Prince Wang Kai is so handsome and talented. To be able to become his personal guard, I really envy you. By the way, do you think Prince Wang Kai also took a fancy to Bing and Yu? I think they're a good match. Hearing Shui Bing's answer, the girls gossiped again, while Shui Bing and Shui Yu hid in the room as if they were running away. On the morning of the second day, Wang Kai walked out of his bedroom in high spirits and came to the bath to wash off the filth on his body. Qianren Shui and the other three girls were powerlessly curled up on the large bed. The surface of their bodies was covered with the indescribable liquid that Wang Kai had left behind, and the corners of their eyes also faintly had traces of tears left behind. Obviously, even if the four of them worked together, they couldn't resist Wang Kai's terrifying attack power. In the end, they were defeated one by one. This was the fundamental reason why they didn't reject Wang Kai, finding new sisters for them. After leaving the bath, Wang Kai also went to the Martial Spirit Holy City's Great Soul Arena again. Today was the 6th day of the promotion competition and also the second last day of the promotion competition. After tomorrow's competition, the winner and loser groups will be completely determined, and the next step would be the qualification competition to determine the final 8 precious spots to participate in the finals. On this day, the enemy of the Martial Spirit Palace team was the Star Luo Empire's Qi-Lan Academy. This team didn't have a Soul King expert and was a proper team of roaming. Even if Wang Kai didn't fight, the Qi-Lan Academy would be defeated in a minute. And then, the promotion competition came to the 7th day. Today, Wang Kai's opponent was the Star Luo Iron Blood team from the Star Luo Empire, and this was also the last battle of the Martial Spirit Palace team in the promotion competition. Chapter 241. The first match of the 7th day will be between Team 1 from Martial Spirit Hall and Team 1 from the Star Luo Empire. Now, let us welcome both teams onto the stage. Wang Kai led 6 members of Martial Spirit Hall onto the stage following the host's introduction. Opposite them, 7 members of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy walked onto the stage. Just as its name suggested, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy was an academy that nurtured soul masters who served the Star Luo Empire's military. As a result, the academy's resources were provided by the Star Luo Empire's military. Many of the teachers in the academy were powerful soul masters from the Star Luo Empire's military, and the academy's dean was a great general of the Star Luo Empire, a super powerful titled the. Unlike most other academies, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy was open to all talented commoners, and they were free of all tuition fees. Of course, if you wanted to enjoy this privilege, you had to bear the corresponding obligations. After graduating from the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy, they had to serve the Star Luo Empire's military for 10 years. Even so, many commoners still flocked to the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy because it was their best and only choice. As an academy that nurtured soul masters for the Star Luo Empire's military, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy was known for its cruel training and strict rules. Furthermore, unlike other Soul Master academies, the Soul Masters of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy had to leave the academy every year to carry out missions with the Star Luo Empire's military, such as chasing away soul beasts or killing bandits. Because of this, the students of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy were all battle-hardened Soul Masters. Their actual fighting strength was much stronger than normal Soul Masters from other academies, and their teamwork was also very good. Not only that, but every student of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy was swift and decisive, and their bodies were filled with killing intent. Other than that, the students of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy were also very strong. They had 3 Soul Kings and were ranked in the top 5 of all the participating teams. Their captain was a rank 53 Soul King, and his strength was one of the best in this amazing tournament. Because of this, even though this team didn't have any martial soul fusion skills, the 7 of them working together were definitely enough to fight against an ordinary high-level Soul Emperor. They were a very strong team. Once they entered the finals, due to the existence of the individual competition, they wouldn't have to deliberately use their martial soul fusion skills. They even had the possibility of reaching the top 3 in the tournament. In the past 6 days, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy had won 5 matches and lost 1. Only the Skywater Academy had defeated the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy with their powerful fusion skill. Even the Tsanghui Academy, who had a 7-person fusion skill, was no match for the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy. Even though the 7-person fusion technique was very powerful, how could the illusion created by the Tsanghui Academy students affect the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy students, who had gone through countless battles of life and death and had incomparably strong willpower? As a result, the 7 students from Star Luo Iron Blood Academy easily broke through the illusion and emerged victorious. And now, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy's opponent was the Martial Spirit Hall team, the only team in Group 1 that had maintained an undefeated streak. If they could defeat the Martial Spirit Palace Academy, then they would also have 6 wins. Since the Martial Spirit Palace Academy had defeated the Skywater Academy before, according to the rules, they could directly advance as the winner of the winners group. Even though they knew that their chances of victory were slim, their eyes were filled with battle intent. Silence. Members of both teams, salute. Members of both teams, prepare to release your martial souls. Begin. Following the announcer's announcement, the battle began. The 7-star Luo Iron Blood Academy Soul Masters released their killing intent at almost the same time, then rushed towards Wang Kai. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. This was their strategy. As long as they could defeat Wang Kai, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy members believed that they had a 90% chance of defeating the other members of the Martial Spirit Hall team. Even though the Martial Spirit Hall team's Soul Masters paused for a moment under the killing intent of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy, Wang Kai, who possessed the martial soul of the Emperor Shura, wasn't the least bit intimidated by their killing intent. Seeing the 7-star Luo Iron Blood Academy Soul Masters rushing towards him, Wang Kai only smiled faintly. He swung Shura's dragon-slaying spear in the air and swept the 7-star Luo Iron Blood Academy Soul Masters away. At this moment, the Martial Spirit Hall team's Soul Masters finally reacted. Li Weming buffed Wang Kai. Then Wang Kai took a step forward and charged towards the captain of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy team. Following that, his spear shot out like a dragon. Limitless Blood Spear. Even though he didn't charge up his spear, Wang Kai's attack was still as powerful as a high-level Soul Emperor's all-out attack. Seeing Wang Kai charge towards him, the captain of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy team brandished a blood-colored axe and activated his 5th soul skill. Following the flickering of his soul rings, the Soul Master unleashed a resplendent axe shadow. However, the axe shadow was instantly vaporized by the limitless blood spear. Following that, Wang Kai fiercely kicked the captain of the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy team off the stage. With the strongest member of the team eliminated, how could the rest of the team be a match for the Martial Spirit Hall team? In less than a minute, the remaining 6 people were all knocked off the stage. The Martial Spirit Hall team also secured a spot in the winner's bracket with 7 victories. Even though they weren't surprised by their victory in the qualifier, the Martial Spirit Hall team still happily high-fived each other when they heard the results. Hulaina even kissed Wang Kai a few times on his face, causing Evil Moon and Yin to cast jealous glances at Wang Kai. However, it was only jealousy. Whether it was Evil Moon or Yin, both of them had already acknowledged Wang Kai's strength in the past 6 months. Thus, even though Evil Moon's feelings for Hulaina exceeded that of a sibling relationship, and Yin had always been secretly in love with Hulaina, they both understood that being able to marry Wang Kai was Hulaina's greatest fortune. As for them, it was enough for them to silently bless her from the side. On the other side, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy team members were somewhat dejected, but it wasn't as if they didn't have a chance to enter the finals. Even though they could only advance as the loser's bracket still had a chance to compete for a spot in the finals. This was something they had to do. Otherwise, they would be severely punished when they returned to the academy. The battles continued, and several hours later, the competition finally ended. After another round of overtime, the winner's bracket and the loser's bracket were decided. At this time, the Holy Dragon doll walked up to the podium with a smile on his face under everyone's gaze. Chapter 242. Contestants and Audience. It can be said that everyone is very, very lucky to be able to personally witness this year's Soul Master Tournament. In this tournament, many Soul Master geniuses have emerged. This tournament is also more exciting than any of the previous ones. Even I am amazed by many of the battles. After 7 days of intense competition, we have now successfully decided on the 8 winners and losers groups. Next, they will fight for the precious spot in the finals. Here, we would like to congratulate all the members of the winners group. Congratulations on emerging from the various groups. Furthermore, you are only 1 step away from entering the finals. Of course, you can't relax now, because if you don't perform well in the qualifying round, your spot in the finals may still be taken away by the losers group. Here, we would also like to congratulate the losers group. Although your results may be slightly worse than the winners group, you have already proven your strength. At the same time, if you perform well in the qualifying round, you will also have a chance to enter the finals. As for those teams that have been eliminated and can't enter the qualifying round, you don't need to be discouraged. Being able to kill your way into the qualifying round from over 100 teams has already proven your strength and potential. You are also well-known figures among Soul Masters, and you also have a bright future ahead of you. Then, I will now announce the names of the winners and losers of each group. After that, we will draw lots for the groups of the winners and losers of the winners and losers of the qualifiers. As he spoke, the Holy Dragon Daw took the scoreboard from the hands of a staff member beside him. Results of the first group. First place, Martial Spirit Hall Team 1. Record, 7 wins, 0 losses. Second place, Skywater Academy Team 1. Record, 6 wins, 1 loss. Third place, Star Luo Iron Blood Academy Team 1. Record, 5 wins, 2 losses. Fourth place, Songhui Academy Team 1. Record, 4 wins, 3 losses. Fifth place, Elephant Academy Team 1. Record, 3 wins, 4 losses. Sixth place, Qilin Academy Team 1. Record, 2 wins, 5 losses. Seventh place, Plant Academy Team 1. Record, 1 win, 6 losses. Eighth place, Purple Rainbow Academy Team 1. Record, 1 win, 0 losses. Winners Group, Martial Spirit Hall Team 1, Skywater Academy Team 1. Losers Group, Star Luo Iron Blood Academy, Songhui Academy Team 1. Results of the second group. Winners Group, Shrek Academy and Imperial Star Luo Academy Team 1. Losers Group, Blazing Fire Academy, Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 2. Results of the third group. Winner Group, Heaven Do Imperial Academy Team, Martial Spirit Palace Team 2. Loser Group, Team Thunder Academy, Team Steel Teeth. Results of the fourth group. Winners Group, God Wind Academy, Heavenly Shine Academy. Losers Group, Team Nightshade, Team Carmen. Winners Group. Team 1 from the Marshall Soul Hall, Team 1 from the Skywater Academy, Team 1 from the Shrek Academy, Team 1 from the Imperial Star Luo Academy, Team 1 from the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, Team 2 from the Marshall Soul Hall, Team 1 from the Divine Wind Academy, and Team 1 from the Heavenly Glory Academy. Losers Bracket Teams. Star Luo Iron Blood Academy Team, Songhui Academy Team, Blazing Fire Academy Team, Star Luo Royal Academy Team 2, Thunder Academy Team, Steel Teeth Academy Team, Nightshade Academy Team, and Carmen Academy Team. Now, let's give a warm round of applause to the captains of the qualified teams. I will represent the Marshall Spirit Palace to present the prizes to all the qualified teams. After announcing all the qualified teams, the Holy Dragon Law invited all the qualified teams to the podium. Then, he shook hands with the captains of each team and gave them 5,000 gold soul coins as a reward. To his soul ancestor, 5,000 gold soul coins was a considerable amount of income. However, it wasn't enough for a soul king. However, these rewards were actually more about knowledge and honor. Once they joined the Marshall Soul Hall, or the two great empires, the benefits they would receive couldn't be measured with gold soul coins. After giving out the prizes to each team, the Holy Dragon Doll left the podium. Afterwards, the host announced the start of the lot drawing process. The captains of each team went to the lottery box to draw their group balls. Several minutes later, the groupings were completed and the qualified teams for the first round were determined. In the winners group, Marshall Spirit Palace Team 1 versus Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 1, Shrek Academy Team 1 versus Marshall Spirit Palace Team 2, Heavenly Water Academy Team 1 versus Heavenly Shine Academy Team, God Wind Academy Team 1 versus Heaven Do Imperial Academy Team. In the losers group, Star Luo Iron Blood Academy Team 1 versus Thunder Academy Team, Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 2 versus Blazing Academy Team, Steel Teeth Academy Team 1 versus Songhui Academy Team, Carmen Academy Team 1 versus Dustflower Academy Team. After seeing the results of the groupings, each team was either happy or sad. They left the stage one by one to prepare for tomorrow's battle. In the blink of an eye, it was the morning of the next day. Compared to the qualifier round, the audience for the qualifier round was also a sea of people. Even though the ticket price for the qualifier round was twice that of the qualifier round, everyone was still flocking to it. After all, compared to the qualifier round was much stronger and the competition was much more exciting. In the first round of the qualifier round, Marshall Spirit Palace Team 1 versus Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 1. Following the announcer's enthusiastic voice, Wang Kai led the 6 members of Marshall Spirit Palace onto the stage. Across from them, Davis, Zhu Zhuyun, and the other 5 members of Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 1 stepped onto the stage with a trace of bitterness. In Star Luo Imperial Academy Team 1, there was a rank 53 Soul King, Davis, and a rank 51 Soul King, Zhu Zhuyun, who could use a martial soul fusion skill. In addition, there was also a rank 51 Soul King with a 9 soul severing spear. The other 4 were rank 49, rank 49, rank 47, and rank 45 respectively. With this kind of strength, coupled with their martial soul fusion skill, they were one of the best among all the participating teams. However, against Marshall Spirit Palace and Wang Kai, they didn't have the slightest bit of confidence. After all, against Skywater Academy's martial soul fusion skill, Wang Kai was able to pierce through the terrifying Ice Phoenix with a single spear strike. He wasn't injured at all, nor was he exhausted. Although they were stronger than Skywater Academy's Shui Bing sisters, could they really withstand Wang Kai's ferocious might? Chapter 243. With this question in mind, all the spectators in the arena turned their attention to the 2 teams in the arena. They wanted to see which team would emerge victorious. Of all the teams present, the one that was paying the most attention to this match was none other than Shrek Academy's team. The Star Luo Imperial Academy's team was the strongest team apart from Shrek Academy's team and the Marshall Soul Palace's team. If they wanted to force the Marshall Soul Palace's team to use more tricks, they could only rely on this match. Silence. Both teams salute each other. Both teams prepare to release your martial souls. Begin. On the soul dueling arena, both teams saluted each other. Following the host's words, Zhu Zhiyun and Davis immediately held each other's arms tightly. Netherworld, White Tiger. With a low shout from their mouths, their martial souls and bodies underwent mysterious changes at the same time. On the right, Davis's tiger roar suddenly became more ferocious. Accompanied by the ferocious tiger roar, Davis's body swelled again after unleashing his martial soul true body. His muscles swelled wildly, and white hair and black tiger stripes grew wildly from the surface of his body. On the left, Zhu Zhiyun's body was covered with a layer of faint black light. Her body also became illusory with the appearance of the black light. It looked like a transparent black fog, drifting erratically. Then, it quietly drifted toward Davis. At this moment, Davis smiled slightly. His eyes shot out dazzling white light, and then he and Zhu Zhiyun's illusory and pitch-black bodies approached each other. In the next moment, the two figures, one black and one white, merged together. Just as the two figures merged into one, a huge black and white pillar of light with a diameter of 5 meters soared into the sky from where their bodies merged. A powerful shock wave spread out in all directions. Seeing this terrifying shock wave, the Holy Dragon Dua had to stand up again and use his soul power to build a barrier to defend against the shock wave. Accompanied by the appearance of the bright pillar of light, an extremely terrifying tiger roar instantly resounded throughout the entire great soul dueling arena. Apart from the soul masters who were soul sages and above, almost everyone in the audience felt a sense of fear that originated from their very souls. Their hands couldn't help but stop moving for a moment. The black and white light pillar dissipated in the explosion, and at the same time, the figures of Davis and Zhu Zhiyun disappeared. However, at the spot where their bodies had merged, a huge white tiger with a body length of more than 10 meters and a height of about 5 meters appeared before everyone's eyes. However, unlike ordinary white tigers, the body of this white tiger on the field was slightly transparent. Its body was covered with white fur, and there were many pitch-black lines scattered among the white fur. This huge white tiger had a pair of purple eyes. It radiated with a powerful and terrifying pressure as it stared coldly at Wang Kai, who was holding Shura's Dragonslayer spear. Compared to the netherworld white tiger in front of him, Wang Kai's body was undoubtedly extremely small. However, under the frightening pressure of the netherworld white tiger, Wang Kai didn't show a trace of fear. Instead, he raised his head indifferently and looked into the eyes of the netherworld white tiger, which was filled with ferocity. A few days ago, Wang Kai had fought against the Shui sisters' martial soul fusion skill. Although the Shui sisters' cultivation was only that of a soul king and a soul ancestor, the power of their martial soul fusion skill was at the level of an early-stage soul sage using their martial soul true body. The world-defying Ice Phoenix that they released at the end was even at the level of an all-out attack of a low-stage soul sage. This time, Davis and Zhu Zhiyun were much stronger than the Shui sisters. They were both soul kings. Therefore, the martial soul true bodies they used were definitely stronger than the Shui sisters. Although he didn't show any fear, Wang Kai's face revealed a trace of seriousness as he looked at the ferocious netherworld white tiger in front of him. If he was allowed to use 2 god martial souls, Wang Kai's strength would be comparable to a mid-stage soul sage. If Wang Kai was allowed to use all 3 god martial souls, Wang Kai's fighting strength would be comparable to a high-level soul sage, and he would be able to kill a mid-stage soul sage. However, this was the Soul Master Tournament. After all, Wang Kai didn't dare to take the risk of using his other martial souls. However, even if he only relied on Emperor Shura's god martial soul, Wang Kai's body, soul power density, and soul power would be able to reach the level of an early-stage soul sage when he fused with the other god martial souls. Coupled with Wang Kai's frightening recovery ability, it wouldn't be a problem for him to defeat the netherworld white tiger. Therefore, he only revealed a trace of seriousness and didn't show any fear or anxiety. "Captain, Do you need me and my brother to use our martial soul fusion skill together? Or are you saying that you can deal with this netherworld white tiger alone without us? At this moment, Hulaina once again leaned close to Wang Kai's ear and asked softly, "Don't worry, Nara. I alone am enough to defeat this netherworld white tiger. As for the rest of you, you'll be responsible for defeating the other members of the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team. As for your martial soul fusion skill, you can leave it for Shrek's team, who defeated the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team. They're our greatest enemy." After hearing Hulaina's question, Wang Kai revealed a confident smile and replied in a low voice, "Yes, I understand. Good luck, Captain." After hearing Wang Kai's instructions, Hulaina nodded her head. Ever since Shrek's team defeated the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team, Shrek's team had become the hot favorite to win the championship, second only to the Martial Soul Hall's team. Therefore, Hulaina didn't have any doubts about Wang Kai's decision to leave behind his trump card. As for Wang Kai, he naturally had his own consideration for doing so. Hulaina and Evelmun's martial soul fusion skill was Bewitching Charm. This soul skill was coincidentally countered by Tang San's purple demon eyes. If they revealed it now, they would definitely be targeted by Tang San, and they wouldn't be able to use this soul fusion skill. On the contrary, if they didn't reveal Bewitching Charm now, they would only need Wang Kai to stop Tang San from using his purple demon eyes in the final battle against the Martial Soul Hall. Hulaina and Evelmun's Bewitching Charm would be enough to defeat Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai's Netherworld White Tiger. The other members of the Martial Soul Hall's team would also be strong enough to defeat Shrek's team, and he would be able to win easily. Of course, according to Tang San's character, if Shrek's team really went up against the Martial Soul Hall's team, they would most likely concentrate their firepower to kill Wang Kai. At this time, if Hulaina and Evil Moon used Bewitching Charm, they would definitely be able to deal a fatal blow to Shrek's 7 monsters. Chapter 244. Fight! Seeing the appearance of the Netherworld White Tiger, Wang Kai immediately activated his martial soul possession and Shura's monarch armor. Instantly, Wang Kai transformed into Shura and donned the majestic blood-red armor. Then, he raised his spear and charged at the Netherworld White Tiger. On the other side, the Netherworld White Tiger's eyes turned red when it saw Wang Kai charging at it with his spear. It raised its head and let out a terrifying roar. Then, it stomped on the ground and charged at Wang Kai. Just as the Nether White Tiger charged forward, a pair of enormous wings unfurled on its broad back, causing its already enormous body to move even faster, and the force of its charge was even more terrifying. One man and one tiger, just like that, met face to face in midair. At this time, the Netherworld White Tiger clawed at Wang Kai's chest. Ultimate Blood Spear Art. Although he was in midair, Wang Kai's movements were as smooth as ever. Gathering all the strength in his arms, he raised his spear and stabbed at the Netherworld White Tiger. Following a loud crash, a terrifying force came through. Wang Kai's Shura's dragon-slaying spear was bent, and his arms were numb. Then he took 3 steps back, and his internal organs were slightly shaken. This was too satisfying. Although he was temporarily pushed back by the Netherworld White Tiger, Wang Kai's heart was filled with joy. His heartbeat began to accelerate. Ever since he killed the 10,000-year-old arachnid, Wang Kai had not experienced such a satisfying battle in a long time. The Netherworld White Tiger's attack seemed to have turned on the battle switch in Wang Kai's body. In an instant, Wang Kai's body was filled with a fierce battle intent. Again, Ultimate Blood Spear Art. Although Wang Kai's internal organs had suffered some damage from the Netherworld White Tiger's attack, his yin-yang body and Earth's force allowed him to recover from his injuries in less than half a second. Then, he leaped up once again, raised his spear, and charged towards the ferocious Netherworld White Tiger. Just as Wang Kai was pushed back, the Netherworld White Tiger was also attacked by Wang Kai. Under Wang Kai's attack, a long wound appeared on the Netherworld White Tiger's body. Blood flowed endlessly. The blood that flowed out stimulated the Netherworld White Tiger's bloodlust. Its eyes flashed fiercely as it charged at Wang Kai. This time, Wang Kai retreated a few steps, but the Netherworld White Tiger's spear claw had another long wound. Suppress it for me. Just as he landed, Wang Kai had already adjusted his state of mind. Wang Kai once again stood up, and his spear gave off a terrifying blood-red light as it pierced towards the Netherworld White Tiger with an unstoppable aura. The Netherworld White Tiger also gave off a terrifying aura as it leapt towards Wang Kai and clawed at the Azura Dragon killing spear. As the spear and claw met, Wang Kai and the Netherworld White Tiger were instantly entangled in battle. The black and white Netherworld White Tiger's image collided with the blood-red Shura's image. Their speed was so fast that only Soul Sages could barely see the battle between Wang Kai and the Netherworld White Tiger. Of course, there was an exception among the spectators who could see the battle clearly, and that was Tang San. Although he was only a Soul King, he relied on his purple demon eyes to clearly see the movements of Wang Kai and the Netherworld White Tiger. Too strong. This was Tang San's only evaluation of Wang Kai. Although the Netherworld White Tiger formed by Davis and Zhu Zhuyuan was defeated by the Netherworld White Tiger formed by Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing, it was still a martial soul fusion skill executed by two Soul Kings. Tang San admitted that he was definitely not a match for any of the Netherworld White Tigers unless he used a hidden weapon. However, Wang Kai was able to fight to a draw with one of the Netherworld White Tigers. Wang Kai's strength was truly frightening. Furthermore, the Martial Spirit Hall's team hadn't displayed any strength apart from Wang Kai. But as the Martial Spirit Hall's team, how could the remaining members be ordinary? Tang San had a strong premonition that the Martial Spirit Hall's team was still hiding a huge killing move, and their target was Shrek's team. Can we really win? Seeing Wang Kai's invincible might, Tang San couldn't help but have doubts in his heart. If he could use a hidden weapon, Tang San believed that he had dozens of ways to defeat or even kill Wang Kai, who was only a Soul Emperor. However, this was a Soul Master tournament after all. Whether it was hidden weapons or some of the Tang sect's crafty techniques, they couldn't be used due to the rules. This gave Tang San an incomparable headache. Just as Tang San was secretly shocked, the situation on the stage had quietly changed. In the beginning, the Netherworld White Tiger's every pounce could cause Wang Kai to retreat a few steps. But after dozens of moves, Wang Kai was already able to fight to a draw with the Netherworld White Tiger. In terms of momentum, he was even slightly suppressing the Netherworld White Tiger. This is storing power? Looking at Wang Kai's everlasting blood spear technique, Tang San could faintly see the knack for it. He couldn't help but admire Wang Kai. Unfortunately, he was a member of the Martial Soul Hall. After experiencing the qualifiers, Tang San also learned about his father, Tang Hao, and his missing mother from Ningfengji. It was very clear that his father's depression and his mother's disappearance were related to the Martial Soul Hall that dominated the continent. After experiencing this incident, Wang Kai could no longer bring up any good feelings towards the Martial Soul Hall. He even started to hate them. Tang San wasn't wrong at all. After fighting with the Netherworld White Tiger for nearly a minute, Wang Kai's everlasting blood spear technique had already accumulated a huge amount of spear force. This caused Wang Kai's strength to increase by nearly 50% compared to the beginning. On the other side, maintaining the Netherworld White Tiger wasn't a simple matter for Davis and Zhu Zhuyuan. The price to pay for unleashing the terrifying power of a martial soul fusion technique was an extremely terrifying consumption of soul power. After fighting with Wang Kai for so long, Davis and Zhu Zhuyuan had already consumed close to 60% of their soul power. At this time, the Netherworld White Tiger's body started to turn illusory. Its strength and speed were also weakening bit by bit. Not only that, but Wang Kai Shura's dragon-slaying spear had already pierced through the Netherworld White Tiger's claws. The claws were several meters long, and they were bleeding nonstop. One could see the mangled flesh and blood, and they simply couldn't heal. The Netherworld White Tiger's body was actually formed from Davis and Zhu Zhuyuan's soul power. The Netherworld White Tiger's bleeding increased the depletion of their soul power, making it very difficult for them to maintain their martial soul fusion technique. Because of this, Wong Kai's strength had already crushed the Netherworld White Tiger. Furthermore, his strength was still increasing. On the other hand, the Netherworld White Tiger's strength was constantly decreasing. Under this situation, perhaps after 10 more moves, Wong Kai will be able to crush the Netherworld White Tiger with his own strength. We can't continue like this. Otherwise, we'll definitely lose if this continues. At this moment, Zhu Zhiyun's consciousness in the Netherworld White Tiger communicated with Davis's consciousness. Chapter 245. That's right. I've already consumed more than 60% of my soul power. If this continues, we'll lose without a doubt. Yinner, let's use the Netherworld White Tiger break together. Feeling Zhu Zhiyun's thoughts, Davis also conveyed his approval in his mind. Netherworld White Tiger break. Accompanied by a terrifying roar, the Netherworld White Tiger's body instantly accelerated and turned into a strange black and white light arrow. It emitted a boundless and terrifying pressure as it swept towards Wong Kai. Good timing. Looking at the Netherworld White Tiger break exploding towards him, Wong Kai's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. Facing this attack that contained terrifying energy, he had to be careful. Limitless Blood Fiend Spear Art. Although the spear force hadn't accumulated to its peak, after Little Light's second modification, the Limitless Blood Fiend Spear Art didn't have to be circulated to the 49th or 64th form to erupt with its full power. With a thought, Wong Kai struck out with all the accumulated spear force in one go. Following Wong Kai's spear strike, all the spear force he had accumulated previously gathered together and transformed into an incomparably ferocious and terrifying blood-colored dragon that shot out from the tip of the spear. It carried a terrifying and peerless power as it met the Netherworld White Tiger break in the distance. When a Limitless Blood Fiend Spear Art collided with the Netherworld White Tiger break, the blood-colored fiendish aura and the alternating black and white power of the Netherworld White Tiger instantly burst out in all directions. An incomparably violent shock wave spread out from the center of the explosion and crazily attacked the barrier set up by the Holy Dragon Daw, causing ripples to appear. At the same time, in the area where the Limitless Blood Fiend Spear Art and the Netherworld White Tiger break collided, the incomparably sturdy soul dueling stage caved in a terrifying pit. The ground split open in all directions, leaving behind sinister cracks. Even the spectators in the spectator stands felt their seats tremble, and small cracks even appeared on the ground near the soul dueling stage. The power of this attack was truly breathtaking. But who won and who lost? Looking at the thick smoke and dust that pervaded the soul dueling stage due to the explosion, except for a few extremely powerful soul masters and Tang San, almost all soul masters had the same question in their hearts. The power of your martial soul fusion skill is pretty good. Unfortunately, you met me, Wong Kai. While everyone was staring at the soul dueling stage, a handsome young man holding a crimson spear and clad in crimson armor strode out of the smoke and dust. Apart from his armor being stained with dust from the explosion, he didn't seem to be injured at all. See Wong Kai's team. Seeing Wong Kai walk out safely, a look of Wong Kai's their eyes revealed a look of joy in their eyes when they saw Wong's their eyes. Their gazes were also this writes Wong. The winner of the first match of the qualifying round is Team 1 of the Martial Spirit Palace. Seeing Wong Kai walk out of the smoke, the outcome of this battle was self-evident. The referee quickly announced the result of the match. At this time, the terrifying smoke and dust from the explosion had dissipated. On the ground, Davis and Zhu Zhiyun were lying on the ground with pale faces. Their auras were very weak, but fortunately, their life auras were not too weak. In the battle with Wong Kai, they had forced out all of their potential and were somewhat exhausted. The Holy Dragon Doloa shook his head in exasperation at the sight of the ruined soul dueling stage. This batch of young soul masters really are freakishly talented. Not long after, many staff members returned to the stage and quickly repaired the soul battle platform. The competition resumed. The second round of the victors bracket was between Shrek Academy and Marshall Soul Hall's second team. Without a doubt, Shrek Academy's team easily defeated Marshall Soul Hall's second team with 3 Soul Kings and a Marshall Soul Fusion skill, obtaining victory. In the third match of the winners group, the Heavenly Water Academy defeated the Star Luo Empire's Heavenly Glory Academy to advance to the next round. And in the fourth match of the winners group, the Godwind Academy defeated the Heaven Do Imperial Family Academy's first team to advance to the next round. Then, it was the turn of the 8 teams in the losers group to compete. The first battle was between the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy and the Thunder Academy. The Star Luo Iron Blood Academy won. The second battle was between Blazing Academy's team and Star Luo Imperial Academy's second team. Blazing Academy won. The third battle was between the Star Luo Empire's Steel Teeth Academy and the Tsang Hui Academy. The Tsang Hui Academy won. The fourth match was between the Star Luo Empire's Carmen Academy and Long Kuei Academy, and Long Kuei Academy emerged victorious. After the 8 battles, the morning competition was officially over. After resting for an afternoon, the competition resumed. Compared to the morning competition, the afternoon competition wasn't as packed. There were only 4 matches in total. First was the battle between the 4 teams that lost in the morning. The Star Luo Imperial Family Academy defeated the Martial Spirit Hall's second team and advanced to the next round. The Heaven Do Imperial Family Academy defeated the Heavenly Glory Academy and advanced to the next round. The 2 teams that lost, the Martial Spirit Hall's second team and the Heavenly Glory Academy, had to compete with the top 2 teams in the losers group for the last 2 spots to advance to the next round. Next was the battle between the 4 teams that won in the losers group. Finally, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy and the Blazing Academy defeated their opponents and became the top 2 teams in the losers group. They would compete with the Martial Spirit Hall's second team and the Heavenly Glory Academy for the last 2 spots to advance to the next round. Because these teams had already gone through 2 battles and their Soul Masters didn't have a terrifying recovery ability like Wong Kai, the final competition would be held tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and the morning after. Every team would fight in pairs, and the teams that would advance to the next round would be chosen after 6 rounds. At the same time, the opening ceremony for the finals would be held in front of the Martial Spirit Hall's Pope's Palace. After another day and a half of battles, the 6 matches ended. Finally, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy advanced with 3 wins and 0 losses. The Blazing Academy advanced with 2 wins and 1 loss. The Martial Spirit Hall's second team and the Heavenly Glory Academy were eliminated from the losers group. At this point, the 8 teams that would advance to the next round were determined. They were the Martial Spirit Hall's first team, the Shrek Academy's team, the Skywater Academy's team, the Star Luo Imperial Family's team, the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy's team, the Blazing Academy's team, the Godwind Academy's team, the Heaven Do Imperial Family's team. After the teams that would advance to the next round were determined, the qualifying competition ended. The 8 teams were led by the Martial Spirit Hall's representatives to the new competition venue in front of the Pope's Palace. Chapter 246. Unlike the promotion and qualification rounds, the grand finals of the Soul Master Tournament didn't sell tickets to the general public. Only a small number of invited Soul Masters and the nobles of the 2 empires were allowed to spectate the competition in front of the Pontiff's Palace. Outsiders weren't allowed to spectate the competition, which added to the mysteriousness of the tournament. All the teams left the Great Soul Dueling Arena in the outer city along the wide roads in the Martial Soul Sacred City. They rushed towards the Pontiff's Palace in the center of the city. The Martial Soul Sacred City was hexagonal and was built around a mountain. The mountain in the center of the city was called the Martial Soul Sacred Mountain. There were 3 majestic buildings on the Martial Soul Sacred Mountain. One was at the top of the mountain, while the other 2 were at the middle of the mountain. Even the teams outside the city could see them. The building at the top of the mountain was the Doloa Palace that all Soul Masters dreamed of entering. It was as white as jade and had a tall dome. It was very majestic. It was where all the titled Doloa were crowned and given their titles. It was also where all the Soul Masters mourned after the death of a titled Delaw. It was a place of faith for all Soul Masters, and it was very solemn and dignified. The two buildings at the middle of the mountain were the Pontiff's Palace and the Elder's Palace. They were on the left and right, and they were both very majestic. The team's destination was the Pope's Palace on the right. There, all the teams that entered the finals would be able to meet the Martial Spirit Palace's Pope, BB Dong, and compete in the competition field in front of the Pope's Palace until the champion was decided. At that time, the Pope would present himself again and personally award the champion team. As the teams got closer to the Martial Soul Sacred Mountain, the Pontiff's Palace was gradually revealed to the teams. It was a pillar-like structure with a dome that was dozens of meters tall. It was more than 100 meters long and wide. The outside of the building was covered with a layer of golden material that shimmered under the sunlight. It was very majestic and imposing. Even the imperial palaces of the two empires weren't as majestic as the Pontiff's Palace. The Pontiff's Palace was surrounded by a sea of guardian knights. After a series of checks, the 8 teams that made it to the finals were finally allowed to approach the Pontiff's Palace. Of course, they were only allowed to go to the competition grounds about 1 kilometer away from the Pontiff's Palace. They couldn't go any closer to the Pontiff's Palace and wait for the opening ceremony of the Soul Master Tournament to begin. In order to welcome the finals of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament, the Martial Soul Holy City had specially opened up a special arena not far from the Pontiff's Palace. This arena was located at the very center of the Martial Soul Holy City, and the enormous arena was completely built from solid iron. Its diameter was several hundred meters. Not only that, but many soul tools were also used to reinforce the enormous competition stage so that they wouldn't be damaged during the fight. Because soul sages had appeared in both the qualifying round and the promotion round, this arena had been specially reinforced. It could withstand multiple attacks from soul sages without being damaged. This way, it wouldn't affect the progress of the tournament. Only the Martial Soul Hall, which controlled most of the Soul Masters on the Doloa continent, could afford to build such an arena. At the very least, the two empires wouldn't be willing to spend so much resources to build such an arena. The majestic Pontiff's Palace was right in front of this arena. On the right side of the arena, there was a resting area specially built for each academy. The teams from each academy could rest and watch the competition from there. On the other two sides of the arena, there were invited Soul Masters and representatives from the two empires. Of course, there were also many internal members of the Martial Soul Hall. The various teams arrived one after another. After that, the guests who had come to participate in the opening ceremony of the finals all arrived at the arena. After about half an hour, the side door of the Pontiff's Palace slowly opened. As the side door opened, a group of Soul Masters in red robes walked out. There were a total of 12 of them. From their attire, it wasn't hard to tell that they were red-robed bishops of the Martial Soul Hall, second only to the consecrated elders and platinum bishops. Every single one of them was a powerful soul. After they walked out of the Pontiff's Palace, they stood on either side of the main entrance of the Pontiff's Palace. There were 6 of them on each side. Seeing such a formation, it was obvious who was going to enter the arena next. Sure enough, after they stood still, the red-robed bishop at the front shouted, "His Holiness has arrived." This red-robed bishop's voice was very loud and clear, and it spread in all directions. "Long live the Holy Father! Long live the Holy Father! Long live the Holy Father!" Following the red-robed bishop's voice, 3 loud cheers rang out near the Pontiff's Palace like a tsunami. These cheers didn't just come from the paladins on the Pontiff's Mountain, but also from many soul masters in the Martial Soul Holy City. The Martial Soul Hall was the organization that they had pledged their loyalty to and protected for their entire lives. As the leader of the Martial Soul Hall, the Holy Father was their greatest believer. Following the loud cheers, the main entrance of the Pontiff's Palace, which was 10 meters tall, slowly opened. The insignia on the 2 doors slowly left their tracks. As the doors creaked open, everyone couldn't help but stare in the direction that the doors opened. Even the members of the Martial Soul Hall and Shrek Academy's team felt their hearts beating faster and faster. other than Wang Kai, who was the holy son of the martial soul hall. Even Hulaina, Evil Moon, and Yin, who were part of the martial soul hall's golden generation, had only seen Pope Bibidon once when they became Soul Kings and were awarded the Purple Record Medal. The other 7 members of the Martial Soul Hall's team had never seen this legendary Holy Father of the Martial Soul Hall before. Under everyone's gazes, Bibidon walked out of the Pontiff's palace with a solemn expression on his face. Bibidon wore a dazzling golden dress. Her face was beautiful, and she wore a purple gold crown on her head. She held a scepter in her hand. Not only that, but Bibidon seemed to have an illusory feeling. She seemed to be infinitely tall and dignified, showing the majesty of the Martial Soul Hall's Holy Father. Bibidon's dazzling golden dress was very fitting. The dazzling dress flickered with precious light, and there were more than 100 red, blue, and gold gems on it. The purple gold crown on her head was even more dazzling, and all the light was focused on her at this moment. The moment Bibidon appeared, almost all the members of the Martial Soul Hall knelt on one knee and shouted in a deep voice, "Greetings, Your Holiness." Chapter 247. In that instant, the aura in the entire place was indescribable. Apart from those soul masters who had very strong willpower, most people couldn't help but feel like prostrating themselves in worship when they heard the cheers that were ringing out from all directions. There were 4 people standing behind Bibidon. 3 of them were wearing bright red ceremonial robes, while the last one was wearing a long white robe. Unlike the red-robed cardinals' ceremonial robes, these 3 soul masters' ceremonial robes were embroidered with gold and silver patterns. Embedded in their chests was a fist-sized gem that was flashing with golden light. It appeared extremely stylish and luxurious. If someone who didn't understand the Doloa continent saw these ceremonial robes, they would only think that they were very stylish. However, to any human on the Doloa continent, being able to wear such ceremonial robes was something that they could only dream of. It was also the greatest honor that anyone could receive in their lifetime. This was because only titled Doloa had the right to wear these ceremonial robes. Wang Kai had seen all 3 of them before. They were the Sword Doloa, the Ghost Doloa, and Chrysanthemum Doloa. The 2 titled Doloa closest to Bibidon were the Ghost Doloa and Chrysanthemum Doloa. The one to Bibidon's left was the Ghost Doloa. Although he was wearing a red robe, faint black gas continuously leaked out from his body. His entire body was covered in a layer of illusory spirit, and he seemed to shift as he walked. His face was also enshrouded in a cloud of mist, and no one could see his face clearly. The one to Bibidon's right was Chrysanthemum Doloa. He had orange hair, and his skin was as tender as a baby's. His appearance was also very seductive, and he gave off a special feeling. At first glance, Chrysanthemum Doloa seemed to be a beautiful woman. However, upon closer inspection, it wasn't difficult to see the Adam's apple on his neck. Clearly, this Chrysanthemum Doloa was a man. As for his appearance, no one dared to talk about it in front of him. The Sword Doloa and the white-robed man stood at the very back. As for the white-robed man, Wang Kai naturally recognized him as his father-in-law, the sect master of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, Ning Fengji. It was no wonder that Sword Doloa Chan Xian would follow him. There were only 3 types of people who could walk out of the Pontiff's palace: the Pontiff, the titled Doloa, and the elders of the Martial Spirit Hall. Obviously, Ning Fengji didn't belong to the first 2. However, as the sect leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, Ning Fengji was also an honorary elder of the Martial Spirit Hall. That was why he was qualified to walk out of the Pontiff's palace. The Pontiff and the 4 people behind him didn't seem to be walking very quickly, but they were very fast. In just a few minutes, they arrived at the competition arena. Although there were no written rules, apart from the 7 members of Shrek Academy and Wang Kai, the rest of the team members knelt down on one knee. This was especially so for the members of the Martial Spirit Hall. They looked at Bibidon with a fanatical look in their eyes, as if they were devout believers. The reason why Wang Kai didn't kneel was very simple. He was the holy son of the Martial Spirit Hall. In terms of status, he was only half a rank lower than Bibidon. His master, Sendoryu, was the great consecrator of the martial spear hall. Whether it was in terms of strength or control of the martial spear hall, he was superior to BB Don. Naturally, he didn't need to kneel to BB Don. As for the 7 members of Shrek Academy, although they hadn't discussed this situation before, they made the same choice. 4 Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing. One of them was a prince of the Star Luo Empire, while the other was the legitimate daughter of the Zhu family, the most powerful organization in the Star Luo Empire. They naturally wouldn't kneel to the martial spirit hall. As for Ning Rongrong, she was the apple of Ning Fengji's eye. With her status, she naturally wouldn't kneel to the pontiff of the martial spirit hall. As for Tang San, he had his own reasons for not kneeling to BB Don. Firstly, it was because of his background in the Clear Sky sect and the Tang sect. Secondly, it was because of his pride. In Tang San's opinion, a man had gold under his knees. Other than his parents and teachers, he wouldn't kneel to anyone else, including the emperor and the pontiff. Ma Hongjuan's thoughts were similar to Tang San's. Not only that, Ma Hongjun, who possessed the evil phoenix, didn't feel any reverence for BB Don. Instead, he harbored evil thoughts. As for Oscar, he also didn't care about the martial spirit hall. He only felt that the martial spirit hall was good for a short while when he received the gold soul coins from the martial spirit hall. The one with the most unique expression among Shrek's 7 monsters right now was undoubtedly Xiao Wu, who was wearing a pink dress and had a pair of bunnies. At this moment, Xiao Wu's head was lowered, and there was a special look of hatred and fear in her eyes. However, that expression only flashed for a moment before it was replaced by a kind of indifference. Shrek's 7 monsters' unique behavior undoubtedly attracted the attention of many people. Many soul masters from the martial spirit hall felt that their behavior was disrespectful to the pontiff, and thus they cast angry looks at them. However, BB Don didn't reveal any anger in his eyes when he saw that Shrek's 7 monsters didn't half kneel to salute him. He only turned his head indifferently and swept his gaze across Shrek's 7 monsters. Eventually, his gaze stopped in front of Tang San. When Bibidon's gaze focused on Tang San felt as if his soul was about to be stripped from his body. His body couldn't help but tremble. After that, he involuntarily activated his purple demon eyes, and 2 purplish-golden rays of light shot out from Tang San's eyes. How dare you disrespect the pontiff? When he saw this scene, a trace of anger appeared in the eyes of the red-robed bishop who had been shouting, "Long live the pontiff." "It's all right. I was too rude. Young man, you're able to resist my gaze at such a young age. I presume that you're Grandmaster's disciple, Tang San." At this moment, a faint smile appeared on Bibidon's face. Then, he stared at Tang San and asked. Seeing that BB Don himself didn't care about this matter, the red-robed bishop immediately shut up. His face was full of reverence. "Yes, your holiness." After hearing Wang Kai's question, Tang San couldn't help but be shocked. He didn't expect this extraordinarily beautiful pontiff in front of him to know him and his teacher. However, after hearing Bibidon's question, Tang San still answered in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. "Not bad. Heroes come from young. You do have some of your teacher's strength of character back then." BB Don nodded at Tang San, then retracted his gaze. After hearing Bibidon's words, Yu Xiaojing, who was sitting in the resting area, revealed a complicated expression in his eyes. There was regret, self-blame, and pain. "After so many years, do you still remember me? Will you forgive me? Or was it—" After hearing the conversation between BB Don and Tang San, all the soul masters present were shocked. They didn't expect that after the pontiff appeared, the first person to speak to Tang San was actually her teacher. Moreover, she seemed to know Tang San's teacher. "I'm just an insignificant talent. I really don't dare to compare with teacher." After hearing Bibidon's answer, Tang San didn't know what she was up to, so he could only answer in a straightforward manner. "Rise." BB Don didn't stay too long on Tang San. Then, he led the 4 people behind him to the center of the arena. He waved the scepter in his hand slightly and said indifferently. After hearing Bibidon's words, all the people kneeling on the ground stood up. It was enough to show how prestigious BB Don was in the martial spirit hall. Chapter 248. After gesturing for everyone to stand up, BB Don walked gracefully to the center of the stage with the 4 people behind him. After that, a faint smile appeared on Bibidon's face as he swept his gaze across the 8 young soul masters participating in the finals. Very good, very good. I can see hope and dawn from all of you. I believe that the Dolua continent will become even more powerful and prosperous because of your appearance in the future. BB Dong expressed his encouragement to the participating team members, then raised his head and looked forward. His voice, which was imbued with soul power, resounded throughout the entire Martial Soul Holy City. Now, as the current Pope of the Martial Soul Hall, I hereby announce that the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament's finals have officially begun. Everyone who has entered the finals are outstanding young soul masters. I hope that you can display all your talent and strength in front of the Pope's palace so that you won't have any regrets. At the same time, I will personally give a special gift from the Martial Soul Hall to the champion team in this year's Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament. BB Dong once again lowered his head to look at the members of the battle team that had entered the finals. He gently waved the scepter in his right hand. Immediately, 4 spots of light appeared out of nowhere and rapidly enlarged in front of BB Dong. Finally, they floated in the air. A spatial soul tool. Many soul masters were slightly shocked when they saw the scepter in Bibidon's hand. However, compared to the 4 items floating in midair, the shock brought by Bibidon's scepter paled in comparison. There were 4 different items floating in midair. They weren't very big and looked like bones. They were a right leg bone, a left leg bone, a left arm bone, and a skull bone. They shone with fiery red, dark green, dark blue, and light purple light. That's right, soul bones. These were 4 soul bones. To soul masters, they were the most precious treasures that could only be found by chance. All of the soul masters present held their breaths as they watched the 4 soul bones flicker with light. The entire arena was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Other than a few higher-ups of the Martial Soul Hall who knew about the final reward, who would have guessed that the Martial Soul Hall would take out 4 incomparably precious soul bones as the reward. That wasn't all. Judging from the light emitted from the soul bones, these 4 soul bones were definitely precious soul bones. They came from powerful soul beasts that were at least 10,000 years old. It had to be known that the more powerful a soul bone was, the more beneficial it was to a soul master, and the more valuable it was to a soul master. Looking at these 4 soul bones, the eyes of all the soul masters present flickered with desire. They could even be said to be greedy. Shrek's 7 monsters and the higher-ups of the Martial Soul Hall were no exception. If not for the fact that there were several titled Doloa present, and that Pope BB Don was also a powerful titled Doloa, there might have been some desperados who couldn't suppress their greed and came forward to snatch the soul bones. The only person present who could remain calm in front of so many soul bones was probably Wong Kai. To Wong Kai, who had the infinite martial soul system, soul bones weren't too rare. Furthermore, he already knew what the final reward was, so he wasn't too surprised. At this moment, Gue Mei, who was behind BB Don, stepped forward. He slowly raised his right hand and pointed at the 4 soul bones. He used his deep voice to introduce them. The 4 soul bones awarded for this competition are the explosive and burning flaming right arm, the rapid wind-chasing left leg, the slow and decelerating mysterious water left arm, and the illusory control skull. Furthermore, I can tell everyone that these 4 soul bones came from 10,000-year soul beasts. They're extremely precious and are all of the best quality. Apart from the legendary external soul bone and the top-tier soul bone from a 100,000-year soul beast, these 4 soul bones can be said to be of the highest quality. After his introduction, Guetha took a step back and disappeared behind BB Don. There's no first place in literature, and there's no second place in martial arts. There can only be one winner, and it's the same for the champion. Therefore, these 4 soul bones will be awarded to the final champion team. Young soul masters who have entered the finals, I hope that you can give it your all and work hard for the championship. After he finished speaking, BB Don led the 3 titled Daw behind him, and Ning Fengji, to a row of gilded chairs in front of the Pontus Palace. BB Don sat in the middle, while Gue Aw and Chrysanthemum Doa sat on her left. Gue Doloa and Chrysanthemum Dolua sat on her right. After hearing about the rewards for the finals, many of the Soul Masters' eyes flashed with fighting spirit. However, they also knew that although the Martial Soul Hall seemed to be giving out 4 soul bones selflessly, these 4 soul bones were actually prepared for the Martial Soul Hall team. With Wang Kai, who was a soul emperor who could suppress everything, what else could happen if these 4 soul bones fell into the hands of the Martial Soul Hall team? After seeing BB Don and the other 4 take their seats, the Holy Dragon Doa quickly walked out from the side. As the person in charge of the tournament, the Holy Dragon Doa briefly explained the rules of the tournament to the invited guests and participating teams. It was different from the preliminaries, promotion, and qualification rounds. In order to fully display the strength of each academy, the Soul Master Tournament's finals would be held in parallel with the individual and team competitions. The rules of the team competition didn't change at all, but the rules of the individual competition were that each team would send 7 Soul Masters to fight. The loser would leave the stage, and the winner could continue to fight until all the members of a team were defeated. That team would lose the battle. Similarly, for the sake of fairness, every 2 teams would have to fight once in the finals. There would be a total of 28 individual and team rounds, making for a total of 56 battles. Furthermore, the weight of the individual and team rounds was the same. The winning team would have a share of the points, while the losing team wouldn't. The ranking and the champion would be determined by the number of points they scored. As for the order of the competition, the team rounds would start first, followed by the individual rounds. There would be 4 matches in the morning and 4 in the afternoon every day, and all the matches would be completed in 7 days. After the rules of the tournament were announced, the opening ceremony of the finals officially came to an end. After the opening ceremony ended, each team had 3 days to rest and prepare. At the same time, they were allowed to visit some places in Martial Soul Saint City and experience some things. Hence, BB Don, Ghost Daw, Sword Dalaw, Chrysanthemum Daw, and Ning Fengji left the stage first. The other teams also left the stage in succession. Chapter 249. After 3 days of rest, all the teams had recuperated and made many tactical arrangements during this time. On the morning of the 4th day, the Martial Soul Hall's team, Shrek Academy's team, Skywater Academy's team, Star Luo Imperial Academy's team, Divine Wind Academy's team, Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team, Star Luo Iron Blood Academy's team, and Blazing Academy's team gathered on the stage in front of the Pope's Palace to prepare for the Soul Master Tournament's finals. Unlike 4 days ago, Pope BB Don didn't appear on stage today. However, everyone's fighting spirit didn't decrease at all. Although most of the teams knew that they didn't have the ability to touch the champion's position, and that they had no fate with the 4 precious soul bones, if they could obtain a good ranking in the tournament, they would be able to obtain a huge amount of rewards, which would be very helpful to their future development. In the first battle of the finals, Wang Kai's team from the Martial Soul Hall's team will be facing 7 members from the Blazing Academy's team. Although the Blazing Academy's team had only entered the losers bracket as 3rd place in their group, they had also stood out through their own efforts to enter the finals. As for the 7 members of the Blazing Academy's team, they had 2 Soul Kings and 5 Soul Ancestors. In terms of strength, they were in the 2nd tier of the participating teams. The 7 members of the Blazing Academy's team were Captain Huo Wushuang, a rank 51 Assault-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Horned Fire Tyrannosaurus. Vice Captain Huo Wu, a rank 51 Transparent Direct-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Fire Shadow. Huiyun, a rank 47 Agility-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Blazing Fire Cloud. Huolai, a rank 48 Agility-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, High Temperature Blazing Fire. Huochue, a rank 47 Agility-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Blazing Hammer. Huijun, a rank 44 Auxiliary-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Fire God Horse. Huiyu, a rank 46 Agility-type Soul Master. Martial Soul, Magma Rain. When the battle started, the Blazing Fire Academy's team immediately released their martial souls. Immediately, balls of various kinds of flames ignited in the sky above the Blazing Fire Academy, appearing exceptionally gorgeous. However, there was also an endless amount of danger hidden within them, causing the temperature of the environment to rise by a notch. On the other side, the members of the Martial Spirit Hall released their martial souls one after another. Unlike the Blazing Fire Academy, whose martial souls were all of the fire element, the Martial Spirit Hall's martial souls were undoubtedly more varied. They were colorful and extremely beautiful, but they were also more powerful, although their strength was far inferior to the Martial Soul Hall Academy. The members of the Blazing Fire Academy didn't reveal the slightest bit of cowardice. After all, this was a competition and not a life-and-death battle. Even if they lost, they would still fight to the fullest. Explosive Fire Dragon Charge, Blazing Fire Cloud, Blazing Meteor, Blazing Hammer, Domain of Raging Fire, Meteor Shower. Following the start of the battle, all the members of the Blazing Fire Academy went all out, releasing their strongest soul skills. For a moment, 5 purple soul rings and 1 black soul ring lit up behind the other 5 members and Captain Huowu Shuang. Behind Vice Captain Huowu, her 5 soul rings actually lit up at the same time. Ring fusion? Outside of the stage, the eyes of many experienced soul masters couldn't help but light up. Ring fusion was a very special technique that required a certain amount of talent. Only a few soul masters with special martial souls could possess this ability after going through training. Ring fusion could superimpose the soul power released when a soul master's soul rings were unleashed, releasing a large amount of soul power in an instant to use a soul skill, causing a powerful explosion that exceeded one's rank. After Huowu released her ring fusion, the fire shadow behind her instantly turned white due to the powerful soul power that was poured into it. Soon after, incandescent flames condensed in the palm of Huowu's hand, transforming into a ball of white light the size of a tennis ball that shot explosively towards Wang Kai. After releasing this soul skill, Huowu's complexion immediately turned pale. "Come at me." Looking at the frightening flames flying towards him, Wang Kai only smiled faintly. Facing such an attack, if Wang Kai used Shura's possession, he could even use his physical body to resist it without being injured. Even the strongest of these soul skills, the blazing fireball that Huowu released through her ring fusion technique, was barely comparable to an all-out attack from an ordinary mid-stage soul emperor. How could it pose any threat to Wang Kai? "Break for me." Focusing his mind and gathering his chi, Wang Kai fiercely struck out with his spear, followed by 3 consecutive spear strikes. 3 blood-colored spear shadows broke through the air, completely dispersing the flames that filled the sky. Even Huowu's blazing fireball only lasted for a few seconds before exploding. "Let's go." With a faint smile, Wang Kai led his team members to charge up and kill their way to the front of the Blazing Academy's team. At this time, Huowu used her Ring of Resistance, and the other team members also used various methods to obstruct Wang Kai's methods. Of course, these little tricks couldn't control Wang Kai at all. Wang Kai easily broke through them and killed his way to the front of the Blazing Academy's team members. Afterwards, he fired 2 consecutive spears, sweeping Huowu and Huowu Shuang off the stage. At this time, the other members of the Blazing Academy's team also decisively chose to admit defeat. They'd already displayed their strongest state, and this was already enough. There was no need for them to end up injured. Leaving a good state would also allow them to continue their afternoon matches. The Martial Soul Hall wins. Faced with such a result, not a single Soul Master was surprised. However, the Martial Soul Hall's speed of victory was really too fast, and the price they paid was too small. It was really a complete instant defeat. If it didn't have a martial soul fusion skill, there probably wouldn't be a single team participating in the tournament that could resist the Martial Soul Hall's team. Right now, the only team that could possibly threaten the Martial Soul Hall was Shrek Academy. Everyone started to pay attention to this Dark Horse team that had made it to the finals. This was especially so after BB Dong said that he knew Tang San's teacher. Shrek Academy received even more attention. Even if they couldn't become the champions, with Shrek Academy's abilities, they would definitely be able to get into the top 3 in this tournament. Coupled with their relationship with the Pope, many Soul Masters felt that a group of new stars were about to rise. After the match between the Martial Soul Halls team and the Blazing Academy's team, the matches continued. In the next 3 matches, the Heaven Do Imperial Academy narrowly defeated the Divine Wind Academy's team. The Shrek Academy easily defeated the Star Luo Iron Blood Academy's team, and the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team defeated the Skywater Academy's team by a certain margin. After an afternoon of rest and treatment, the various teams had basically recovered their soul power and vitality, and the matches continued. In this round, the Martial Soul Hall's opponent was the Skywater Academy's team. Facing the Martial Soul Hall's team that had defeated them before, the Skywater Academy's team didn't choose to use a Martial Soul Fusion skill, which was extremely exhausting. Instead, like the Blazing Academy's team, they used their strongest soul skill to attack. In the end, they directly admitted defeat when the Martial Soul Hall's team charged over. Faced with a team as strong as the Martial Soul Hall's team, the various teams basically didn't have the heart to fight to the death. After all, rather than being beaten to a pulp or even getting injured, it was better to preserve some soul power and condition to deal with other opponents. This way, it would be easier for them to obtain a good ranking. Chapter 250. The first day of the competition ended very quickly. Facing the results of the competition, the members of each team were both happy and sad. However, the tight schedule of the competition gave them too much time each month to soothe their emotions. Very quickly, the second day of the competition officially kicked off. This time, the Martial Soul Palace's opponent was the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Compared to the original timeline, the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's main lineup was still Yu Qianheng, Deguyan, Graphite, Stone Mill, Imperial Wind, Iso, and Yi Lingling. However, their strength had increased significantly. The 7 main members of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy were Team Leader, Yu Tianheng, Martial Soul, Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, Rank 52 Assault Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black. Vice Team Leader, Deguyan, Martial Soul, Jade Phosphorus Snake, Rank 48 Control Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Team Leader, Graphite, Martial Soul, Black Tortoise, Rank 47 Defense Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Team Member, Stone Mill, Martial Soul, Black Tortoise, Rank 47 Defense Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Team Member, Imperial Wind, Martial Soul, Windchime Bird, Rank 46 Agility Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Team Member, Iso, Martial Soul, Ghost Leopard, Rank 45 Agility Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Team Member, Yi Lingling, Martial Soul, 9-Hearted Begonia, Rank 44 Auxiliary Type Soul Master, Soul Rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple. Compared to the other teams that had entered the finals, the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team only had a single Soul King, Yu Qianheng. They didn't even have a Martial Soul Fusion skill as a trump card. As a result, their strength was at the bottom of the rankings. If they hadn't been lucky enough to defeat the weaker Heavenly Glory Academy, they wouldn't have even been able to enter the finals. However, this team wasn't without any redeeming qualities. The captain of this team, Yu Qianheng, possessed a top-tier B soul, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. He was very strong, and even though he had just become a Soul King, his fighting strength was comparable to that of a high-level Soul King. For a normal Soul Master, this was something to be proud of. In addition, the team support, Yi Lingling's Martial Soul, was equally powerful. Her Martial Soul was known as the continent's strongest healing Martial Soul, the 9-Hearted Begonia. The 9-Hearted Begonia was only adept at one type of ability, and it only had one soul skill no matter how many soul rings it had. However, this didn't stop it from becoming an extremely powerful martial soul. The nine-hearted begonia's ability was very simple. It was a terrifyingly powerful area of effect healing ability. The degree of healing could be controlled by the Soul Master's will. The higher the Soul Master's rank and the more soul rings the Soul Master had, the more soul power the nine-hearted begonia could use to heal, and the stronger the healing effect. If a nine-hearted begonia Soul Master could become a Soul Sage, then their healing abilities would be able to bring the dead back to life. As long as the person they were healing was still breathing, they could rely on their powerful martial souls to save them. However, the strength of the nine-hearted begonia did not come without a price. The price of becoming a nine-hearted begonia Soul Master was that the nine-hearted begonia martial soul lineage could only have one successor per generation. This meant that there could only be two nine-hearted begonia Soul Masters living in the world at the same time. Only when one of them died could another nine-hearted begonia Soul Master appear in the future. Because of this, the nine-hearted begonia martial soul could be said to be one of the rarest martial souls. Of course, this wasn't the reason why Wang Kai treated Yi Lingling differently. What really made Wang Kai treat Yi Lingling differently was her extremely beautiful appearance. Yi Lingling's head was covered with a faint black veil. Her body was slender, and her long blue hair flowed down her back like a waterfall. Her eyes, which were the same color as her hair, did not reveal any emotions. Her face was also very indifferent. There was no sadness, no joy, no grief, and no anger. She seemed to give off a faint feeling of nothingness, which made people feel a strong desire to conquer her. Not only that, but Yi Lingling's figure was also extremely slender. Her posture was extremely graceful, and her every move revealed endless mystery and elegance. Her skin was also extremely good. It was as smooth and white as the most gorgeous nephrite. It made people want to knead it. Her figure was also very exquisite. Her arms were snow white and slender. Together with her perfect figure, they formed the most perfect proportion. It was very attractive. In Wang Kai's eyes, if a beauty's appearance was graded from 0 to 10, 0 meant that she could be considered a beauty, and 10 meant that she was a top-notch beauty. In his big family, Chihiro Snow was worthy of 9. 5 points. Mo Shu, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling were slightly inferior. They were around 9 points. As for the two sisters who had just joined Wang Kai's big family, the elder sister Shui Bing, Er's appearance was around 8. 5 points, and the younger sister Shui Yu Er's appearance was around 8 points. However, with the sisters' attributes, they could add half a point to them. Yi Lingling, who was in front of him, was definitely a high score of 8. 5 points. She was an extremely top-notch beauty. In addition to her martial soul, she was completely qualified to enter Wang Kai's big family and become Chihiro Snow's sister. As soon as he saw Yi Lingling, Wang Kai had already fallen in love with this gorgeous, mysterious, and tri-attribute beauty. He decided to take her into his big family and make her one of his wives. He wanted her to serve him wholeheartedly. Although Wang Kai had so many members in his big family, Wang Kai was completely immune to beauties like Huo Wu and Dugian, who were around 60 to 70 points. However, Wang Kai was still very fond of beauties like Yi Lingling. This was especially true for her tri-attribute beauty that attracted Wang Kai. Wang Kai was determined to conquer her. With a thirsty look in his eyes, Wang Kai admired Yi Lingling's beauty as he led the other 6 members of the Martial Soul Palace team to the stage. On the other side, the 7 Soul Masters from the Heaven Do Imperial Academy also entered the stage one by one. The 2 teams lined up separately. Everyone's silence. Seeing that the 2 teams had entered the stage, the host gave the order in a loud voice. Both teams bowed to each other. Seeing that the stage had quietened down, the host continued to instruct the 2 teams to bow to each other. Heaven Do Imperial Academy Team. Team Leader, Yu Qianheng, Rank 52 Assault Type, Soul King. Martial Soul Palace Team. Team Leader, Wang Kai, Rank 63 Assault Type, Soul Emperor. Wang Kai and Yu Qianheng bowed to each other, and the rest of the team followed suit. Both teams prepare to release your martial souls. After the greetings, the host continued to announce the release of their martial souls and the start of the battle. Chapter 251. At this moment, Wang Kai finally saw the legendary nine-hearted begonia. A ball of gentle white light appeared in Yi Lingling's hand, and within the light, there was a nine-petaled pink begonia flower. The petals were pink and white, and the flower was gorgeous and beautiful. The leaves and branches of a nine-petaled begonia flower slid down from Yi Lingling's palms. The soft branches swayed in the wind, and it was very beautiful. With the appearance of a nine-hearted begonia, Yi Lingling's temperament also underwent a certain change. From the original loneliness, she suddenly became full of vitality. The surface of her body also revealed a layer of faint white light, making her skin appear even fairer and more tender. Her entire person also appeared even more beautiful and moving. Beside Yi Lingling, the other 6 members of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team also released their martial souls. In an instant, the entire arena was covered by beautiful soul power. Begin! Following the referee's words, the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's formation changed. Standing at the very front of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team were the Shi brothers, who possessed the martial soul of the Xuanwu tortoise. They were also the defense-type soul masters of the team. The 2 of them stood on the left and right like 2 stone pillars. As they roared, an earthen yellow light rose from the soles of their feet. Their bodies emitted the sound of their bones exploding. Their muscles, which were as hard as granite, swelled crazily and doubled in size. Not only that, as they released their martial souls to possess their bodies leaned forward slightly, forming the shape of a bow. The earthen yellow light formed from their soul power quickly gathered behind their backs, forming a huge, dark yellow tortoise shell. It flickered with a pale yellow light and appeared incomparably sturdy. At the same time, the Shi brothers' bones also underwent significant changes after the appearance of the tortoise shell. Their limbs shortened a little with the appearance of the tortoise shell, and thick tortoise shell grew between their fingers. A layer of sturdy scales appeared on their chests and abdomens, protecting their bodies. The Xuanwu turtle was a very powerful martial soul. In terms of defense, it was only slightly inferior to the elephant armor sex diamond mammoth. As members of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team, the Shi brothers were also very strong. Not only that, the Shi brothers had a special bloodline connection that allowed them to transfer half of the damage they received to each other. This increased the strength of their attacks by a lot. They could take an all-out attack from a high-level Soul King without taking any damage. They could also take an all-out attack from a low-level Soul Emperor at the cost of some light injuries. Behind the Shi brothers was the team leader of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team, Yu Tianheng. After using the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon's possession, Yu Tianheng's right arm, left leg, and right leg had turned into dragon claws. A lightning symbol appeared between his eyebrows, and blue lightning danced around Yu Tianheng's body with crackling sounds. At the same time, Yu Tianheng's aura increased by a lot, and he exuded a faint draconic pressure. Beside Yu Tianheng was the granddaughter of the titled Delaw, Dugabo, who had been killed by Wang Kai, Dugiyan. Her eyes were jade green, and they exuded a dangerous light. A snake tail appeared behind her, swaying back and forth in the air. Behind the 2 of them, in the center of the team, was Wang Kai and Wang Kai's favorite, Yi Lingling. At the back of the team was the Black Panther, Iso, and the Windchime, Yu Feng. The Black Panther, Iso's body didn't change much, but his pupils suddenly became 2 vertical lines. Sharp claws extended from his hands, and he exuded a dangerous aura. A pair of medium-sized brownish-yellow wings appeared behind Imperial Wind's body, and he floated into the air. When the battle began, Wang Kai led the members of the Martial Soul Hall to charge forward. Wang Kai tangled with Yu Tianheng, while the other Soul Masters found their opponents one after another and began to fight. Boundless Blood Spear. Wang Kai didn't say anything when he arrived in front of Yu Tianheng. He raised his spear and stabbed. Of course, Wang Kai didn't use his full strength. He only used the strength of a mid-level Soul Emperor. A soul master like you, Tianheng, wasn't worthy of Wang Kai's full strength. Thunderbolt slash. Following a low roar, Yu Tianheng's fifth soul ring flashed. A dazzling blade of lightning appeared in Yu Tianheng's hand. It exuded blue lightning and appeared very dangerous. After that, Yu Tianheng waved it, and the thunderbolt slash flew toward Wang Kai. Insignificant skill. There was a look of contempt in his eyes. Wang Kai's Shura Dragon Slayer spear destroyed Yu Tianheng's thunderbolt slash. After that, the spear swept across Yu Tianheng's arm. Immediately, the sound of bones breaking could be heard, and Yu Tianheng's face turned pale. At this moment, the third purple soul ring behind Yi Lingling, who was at the back of the group, flashed. A pale white light flew out from the nine-hearted begonia in her hand and floated towards Yu Tianheng's arm. Immediately, Yu Tianheng's arm, which was originally drooping, returned to normal. What powerful healing abilities! Looking at the healing effects of Yi Lingling's soul skill, Wang Kai couldn't help but reveal a trace of adoration in his eyes. With such outstanding healing abilities, coupled with Yi Lingling's beautiful figure, he had to take her into his big family no matter what. Again, although he was injured, Yu Tianheng wasn't discouraged. He continued to attack Wang Kai. However, Wang Kai revealed a mocking smile and attacked again. At the same time that Wang Kai and Yu Tianheng were fighting, the other members of the team were already standing in one place. Hulaina directly entangled the Sure brothers. Although the Sure brothers' physical defense was very strong, they were quickly tricked by Hulaina, who was proficient in spiritual attacks. They were quickly bewitched by Hulaina's charm skill, and their eyes revealed dazed looks. On the other side, Yin was entangled with Dugu Yan. Although Dugu Yan's snake venom was very strong, Yan's martial soul, the Flame Overlord, could completely suppress Dugu Yan's martial soul. Any poison that came close to Yan's body would be broken down. Even if some poison managed to enter Yan's body, it would be neutralized by his frightening fire bloodline. In addition, Yu Hao and Iso were standing together. Both of them were agility-type soul masters, and their martial souls were also leopard types. However, Yu Hao's cultivation was an entire realm higher than Iso's, and he had an additional 10,000-year soul ring. He also had more fighting experience, and with the help of Liu Eming's soul skills, Iso was beaten to a pulp. In the end, Evil Moon and Imperial Wind stood together. Although Imperial Wind could fly into the sky, Evil Moon's New Moon Strike and Moonblade Slash were long-range attacks. Their power wasn't something that Imperial Wind could withstand. As a result, Imperial Wind could only dodge Evil Moon's attacks pathetically. He relied on his martial soul's ability to fly to survive. Chapter 252. Bang! Another loud sound rang out as Wang Kai swept his spear across Yu Tianheng's arm once more. Shura's dragon-slaying spear carried a huge impact and shattered Yu Tianheng's right arm. However, with Yi Lingling's timely healing, Yu Tianheng's injuries quickly recovered. You're going to lose. Wang Kai tapped the ground with his feet and transformed into a sharp arrow that shot explosively toward Yu Tianheng, and his speed was so swift that even the air around him shook. Although Yu Tianheng had Yi Lingling's healing, Yi Lingling had to use her third soul skill to heal his broken bones. At the same time, she had to take care of the other injured team members as well. As a soul ancestor, how long could Yi Lingling's soul power last? Wang Kai and Yu Tianheng fought for a few more rounds. Finally, Yi Lingling's soul power was exhausted as she frantically healed Yu Tianheng. Her nine-hearted begonia dimmed in her hands, and she could only leave the stage silently. Without Yi Lingling's help, Yu Tianheng couldn't recover from his injuries. In front of Wang Kai, he didn't have any ability to retaliate. His arm was broken by Wang Kai's spear, and he was kicked off the stage. On the other side, under Hulaina's control, the Sure brothers had already fought each other until their heads were bleeding. Seeing that Wang Kai had won, Hulaina stopped teasing them and used her soul skill to make them jump off the stage. At the same time, Yu Hao threw Iso off the stage. Yu Feng's wing was struck by Evelmun's moonblade and exploded. He fainted on the ground from the intense pain and couldn't move. Duguyen was also forced off the stage by Yan's soul skill. Complete victory, another complete victory. This result was within everyone's expectations. Without a martial soul fusion skill, the Heavendo Imperial Academy's team didn't have any ability to stop the Martial Soul Hall's team. The reason why the Heavendo Imperial Academy could last this long was because the Martial Soul Hall had shown mercy. Otherwise, no one would be surprised if all the members of the Heavendo Imperial Academy were killed in one move. On one side, the competition continued in full swing. On the other side, Wang Kai personally came to the Heavendo Imperial Academy side. "Prince Wang Kai, what are you doing here?" Looking at Wang Kai, the instructor and leader of the Heavendo Imperial Family Academy, Qin Ming, took a step forward with a displeased expression. In his opinion, as the Holy Prince of the Martial Spirit Hall, Wang Kai's only goal in coming to the Heavendo Imperial Academy was to recruit members of the Academy and have them join the Martial Spirit Hall. Qin Ming was naturally very displeased with this act of poaching. "Mr. Qin, I really admire Miss Yi Lingling from your academy. Therefore, I would like to invite her out for a meal tonight. Does Mr. Qin have any problems with this?" Wang Kai smiled faintly as he looked at Qin Ming. Although Qin Ming's cultivation was higher than his, being a mid-stage soul emperor, in terms of fighting strength, even 100 Qin Mings wouldn't be able to stop Wang Kai. They'd be easily slaughtered. "Prince Wang Kai, our team still has to compete in the tournament. Our members need to rest and discuss strategies, so it's not convenient for us to let them out. Please return." Hearing Wang Kai's words, Qin Ming refused with a straight face. "Mr. Qin, I'm only inviting Miss Yi out for a meal. It won't affect your competition. Furthermore, Mr. Qin, don't forget that this is Martial Soul Holy City. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit." Wang Kai revealed a trace of displeasure as he looked at Qin Ming. He then activated Emperor Shura's martial soul and released Emperor Shura's terrifying aura towards Qin Ming. Suddenly, Qin Ming felt as if he was in an endless sea of blood, with countless ferocious monsters pouncing on him. Murderous auras and blood auras soared to the sky. Qin Ming immediately felt his legs go soft, and he almost knelt on the ground. What a terrifying aura! Wang Kai only released his aura for an instant, but to Qin Ming, that instant felt longer than 10 years. When Wang Kai finally withdrew his aura, Qin Ming's heartbeat quickened. He couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. "Mr. Qin, I'll be going in then." Wang Kai smiled faintly as he looked at the frightened Qin Ming. He then walked into the Heavendo Imperial Academy's spectator area. At this time, Qin Ming, who was at the side, had long been scared out of his wits. His face was incomparably pale. Not to mention stopping Wang Kai, he didn't even dare to move. Seeing that Wang Kai had left his line of sight, Qin Ming's face recovered a trace of color. "Prince Wang Kai, what are you doing here?" Seeing Wang Kai walk in, Captain Yu Qianheng immediately took a step forward and asked, "Miss Yi Lingling, I admire you very much. I'd like to invite you out tonight. Let's have a meal together and get to know each other. What do you think?" Wang Kai glanced at Yu Qianheng, but didn't answer his question. Instead, he walked in front of Yi Lingling with a devilish smile and extended an invitation. "Yes, I'm willing." Yi Lingling's eyes were filled with adoration as she looked at Wang Kai. As a soul cultivator, Yi Lingling's Prince Charming was a powerful, handsome, and domineering young soul cultivator like Wang Kai. Yi Lingling gladly accepted Wang Kai's invitation. Her calm face revealed an unconcealable smile. "Okay, Linger, let's meet at the Profound Feather Pavilion at 6 o'clock tonight." Wang Kai nodded his head in satisfaction when he saw the love in Yi Lingling's eyes. Du Guyan walked up to Wang Kai and said, "Your Highness Wang Kai, if you want to take Lingling out to eat, there's no problem. But you have to bring me along." "Oh, why?" Looking at Du Guyan, Wang Kai's face revealed an unhappy expression as he asked indifferently, "Lingling is still young and innocent. I'm afraid that she'll be deceived by bad guys. So I have to stay by her side and protect her from being deceived by the flowery words of some boys." Dugian looked at Wang Kai provocatively after she finished speaking. "Sure, no problem." Wang Kai nodded his head as he looked at Dugian. He agreed to her request, but his heart was filled with anger. The Dugu clan is truly a bunch of blind people. Dugu Bo dared to injure me, and now his daughter Dugu Yin wants to interfere with my good deed. But since you came to me yourself, don't blame me for being ruthless. Since he dealt with Dugu Yin's grandfather, Wang Kai planned to deal with Dugu Yin as well. Chapter 253. Of course, Wang Kai didn't intend to kill Dugu Yin like how he dealt with Dugu Bo. After all, this was a martial spirit holy city. If he killed Dugu Yin, although he had the ability to put her into a small plane and make her disappear from the world, a soul ancestor mysteriously disappearing in the territory of the Martial Spirit Palace would have a bad impact on both the Martial Spirit Palace and himself. However, it was obvious that this wasn't the main reason why Wang Kai let Dugu Yin go. Although Dugu Bo's appearance wasn't as good as Yi Lingling's, Dugu Yin's appearance and temperament could reach 6 or even 7 points. Among the beauties, she was one of the best. As a broad-minded and compassionate man, Wang Kai didn't intend to use such cruel means to deal with Dugu Yin. Moreover, coincidentally, after opening the advanced system store, Wang Kai also saw a magical item called the slavery collar. This item could enslave a soul master below the initial stage of Soul King. It just so happened that Dugu Yin's strength was only a rank 48 soul ancestor, which was within the control of the slavery collar. Therefore, Wang Kai decided to buy a slavery collar to enslave Dugu Yin. After a period of time, he would put her into a small plane and make her his exclusive property. That night, in the profound feather pavilion. In the most luxurious private room, on the top floor of the profound feather pavilion, sat a man and 2 women. It was Wang Kai, Dugu Bo, and Dugu Yin who had come to attend the banquet. At this time, Wang Kai had already put on the exclusive uniform of the Martial Spirit Palace. This uniform was similar to the suits on the Cerulean planet. It was very well ironed and was inlaid with gorgeous decorations and beautiful gems. Coupled with Wang Kai's extremely handsome face and incomparably strong body, it made Wang Kai look sunny and handsome. He would definitely attract the eyes of all the girls. Looking at Wang Kai, Yi Lingling's body and mind were immediately attracted by Wang Kai. Her heart was in love, and she looked at Wang Kai with eyes full of admiration. Even Dugu Yin, who faintly hated Wang Kai, had to admit that Wang Kai's appearance was really very handsome and could tug at the heartstrings of all the girls. At this time, Wang Kai also glanced at Yi Lingling and Dugu Yin opposite him. Because it was not a competition, Yi Lingling was wearing a black gauze dress. The perfect curves of her body were faintly discernible under the black gauze, which made people drool. Yi Lingling's beautiful face was covered with a layer of black gauze, only revealing her watery and lovely big eyes like sapphires. However, the black gauze on Yi Lingling's face did not cover up her beauty at all. On the contrary, it added a mysterious and noble temperament to her, strengthening her beauty and charm. Beside Yi Lingling was Dugu Yin. Compared to Yi Lingling, Dugu Yin's figure was undoubtedly more hot, and her face was more mature. She revealed the mature beauty of a big sister and had a different charm. Although Wang Kai was more inclined to young girls like Yi Lingling, he had to admit that Dugu Yin's appearance was indeed worthy of appreciation. Even among the beauties, she was a high-quality beauty with 6 to 7 points. "Sir, the dishes." Wang Kai smiled as he glanced at Yi Lingling and Dugu Yin in front of him. Then, he called for the servants of the profound feather pavilion to bring out plates of rare and fragrant dishes. Looking at the dishes in front of her, Yi Lingling's eyes flashed with excitement. She wanted to eat to her heart's content. Even Dugu Yin could not help but sigh at how luxurious this meal was. Dugu Yin's grandfather was the titled Law Dugu Bo. Furthermore, she was the only descendant of Dugu Bo and was deeply doted on by Dugu Bo. Her family's conditions and treatment could be said to be among the best. Even so, she had only eaten such a sumptuous and high-class meal when she became a soul elder and when she became an adult. As for Yi Lingling, although the 9-hearted Begonia family belonged to the Earth 3 sects, because the Earth 3 sects did not have many people and were not strong, Yi Lingling's life had always been rather poor and had never enjoyed such a luxurious meal. "Ling, a young Miss Dugu Yin, let's eat together." Wang Kai smiled faintly as he looked at the 2 shocked girls in front of him. Then, He ate to his heart's content with them. An hour later, the three of them were full. At this moment, Wang Kai also smiled as he looked at Yi Lingling. Then, he said, "Young Miss Yi Lingling, I admire you very much. Therefore, I would like to invite you to join my Holy Sun Guard after graduation. What do you think?" Hearing Wang Kai's question, Yan's eyes immediately revealed a look of vigilance. Before Wang Kai could reply, Yan had already spoken first. "Wang Kai, little sister Lingling has already agreed to stay in the Heaven Do Empire after graduation. Don't have any crooked thoughts. Is that so?" Hearing Yan's words, Wang Kai did not reveal any expression on his face. Instead, he looked at Yi Lingling. "Yes." After hearing Wang Kai's question, Yi Lingling nodded. "That's not a problem. After all, you haven't joined the Heaven Do Empire yet. I can guarantee that if you join my Holy Sun Guard, you will receive much better resources than the Heaven Do Empire. With the wealth of our Martial Soul Hall, we will definitely not be stingy in nurturing a talented soul master like you. Furthermore, I admire you very much. Not only do I admire your martial soul and abilities, but I also admire your beauty and temperament. If you join my Holy Sun Guard, we will have the opportunity to take a step further and become friends, comrades, and even lovers. What do you think?" At this moment, Wang Kai also looked at Yi Lingling with deep affection. His words were filled with gentleness and love. "Lover? Really? Does His Highness Wang Kai also like me?" After hearing Wang Kai's confession, Yi Lingling's heart was instantly conquered. Originally, after seeing Wang Kai defeated Wang Kai, she had already secretly fallen in love with Wang Kai. She saw him as her Prince Charming. Now that she had heard Wang Kai's confession, Yi Lingling's beautiful face became slightly hot, and her heart could not help but beat faster. "Of course, I like Miss Ling very much. Furthermore, I am very willing to discuss the mysteries of the human body with Miss Ling What do you think, Miss Ling Looking at the tempted Yi Lingling, Wang Kai also threw out his ultimate move. "Wang Kai, you are really shameless. You actually used flowery words to deceive the pure and innocent sister Ling." At this moment, Yan finally could not listen to it anymore. He strode forward and pointed at Wang Kai with one hand as he scolded angrily. His other hand formed into a palm and slapped Wang Kai's face. "Impudent." Looking at Yan, Wang Kai's face suddenly revealed a trace of anger. He grabbed Yan's arm and firmly fixed her hand in place. Then, he said coldly, "Miss Yan, you are really annoying. Originally, I was prepared to let you go if you didn't provoke me. However, I have changed my mind now." Chapter 254. What are you trying to do? Yan's heart couldn't help but beat faster when a strange man grabbed her soft arm. After hearing Wang Kai's words, an ominous premonition emerged in her heart, and she asked in a flustered tone, "Come with me." As Wang Kai spoke, he used his other hand to lift Yan up from the ground. You're presumptuous." Yan was also a little flustered when Wang Kai lifted her up. Her body kept twisting, trying to break free from Wang Kai's embrace. However, under Wang Kai's enormous strength, she couldn't break free at all. On the contrary, some sensitive parts of her body were in closer contact with Wang Kai. Traces of numbness and itchiness spread, and Yan couldn't help but feel powerless. You asked for it, so don't blame me. Ling, I'm going to have a chat with your sister Yan. Wait here for a while. I'll be back soon, okay?" Wang Kai whispered to Yi Lingling as he lifted Yan up. "Okay, I know. Your Highness Wang Kai. Sister Yan is a good person. Although her temper and tone may be a little impatient, you mustn't hurt her." Yi Lingling whispered as she looked worriedly at Yi Lingling in Wang Kai's arms. "Don't worry, I won't hurt her, not even a strand of her hair. Linger, don't worry." As he promised Yi Lingling, Wang Kai carried Yan to the side hall of the private room, and then gently put her down. Wang Kai stretched out his arms and trapped Yan in a corner, forming a cabinet. What are you doing?" Yan's eyes revealed a blurry look when she was in such an intimate position with Wang Kai, and her heartbeat couldn't help but quicken slightly. "It's nothing." It's just that you're too annoying. I want to teach you a lesson." While setting up the soundproof barrier that he had purchased from the system, Wong Kai revealed a devilish smile. "You don't come over. You're molesting me." Seeing Wong Kai's evil smile, the uneasiness in Dougie Yan's heart grew stronger, and he hurriedly shouted for help. "Hee hee, Dougie Yan, don't waste your energy. I've already set up special soul tools around this area. Even if you shout until your throat is hoarse, no one outside will be able to hear what you're saying." While looking at Dougie Yan with a hint of playfulness, Wong Kai explained in a low voice, Then what do you want to do to me? Don't forget that I'm a member of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. If you dare to do anything to me, I'll report your crimes to the Empire and tell the world about your ugly side." Although he was a little panicked, Dougie Yan still pretended to be calm and used his status to threaten Wong Kai. "You don't have a chance." Reaching out to touch Dougie Yan's face, Wong Kai's voice carried a trace of coldness. "I don't have a chance. Don't tell me you want to kill me. Don't forget that all the other members of our team know that we came out with you. If I don't return in time, they'll definitely ask the Empire for help from the Martial Soul Hall. When that time comes, your actions won't be able to escape detection." Hearing Wong Kai's words, Dougie Yan's heart grew more and more panicked. However, she couldn't escape from the corner of the wall. She wanted to use her soul force to resist, but she helplessly discovered that a strange energy had invaded her body, causing her to be unable to use her soul force. Little Guang exchanged for a slavery collar. At this time, Wong Kai didn't continue to talk nonsense with Dougie Yan, instead indifferently giving Little Guang an order in his mind. Exchange for a slavery collar requires 50 origin points. Master currently has 1336 origin points. Do you wish to exchange? Hearing Wong Kai's order, Little Guang's cold voice sounded in Wong Kai's mind. Of course, Wong Kai indifferently replied in his mind. Exchange successful. Spent 50 origin points to exchange for a slavery collar. Remaining points, 1286. Following Little Guang's prompt, Wong Kai's mind moved, and a black collar appeared in Wong Kai's hand. This collar wasn't large in size, similar to a dog collar. However, there were countless complicated runes carved on it, revealing a strange and unfathomable aura, incomparably mysterious. What is this? Seeing the collar in Wong Kai's hand, Dougie Yan felt an indescribable terror in her heart and asked with a trembling voice, "You'll know soon enough." Wong Kai coldly smiled and then lightly cut Dougie Yan's face behind him, taking out a drop of blood and dripping it on the slavery collar. In the next moment, the runes on the outside of the slavery collar emitted a faint light, and then it completely disappeared. In the next moment, the slavery collar appeared on Dougie Yan's neck, and a confused and struggling expression appeared on Dougie Yan's face. However, the struggle in her eyes became less and less, and gradually turned into obedience and worship. After 5 minutes, the confusion and struggle in Dougie Yan's eyes completely faded, and only obedience, love, and reverence remained in her eyes as she looked at Wong Kai. At this time, the slavery collar on her neck also completely disappeared, fusing into her body. This servant Dougie Yan greets Master, saying her greetings to Wong Kai in an incomparably respectful tone. Dougie Yan bent her visible waist and kissed the tip of Wong Kai's shoe. "All right, get up." Looking at Dougie Yan, Wong Kai's eyes revealed a trace of satisfaction. The incomparably arrogant and unbridled Dougie Yan had now become such an obedient slave. How miraculous was this? Not only that, but the advantage of this slavery collar was that it wouldn't destroy the enslaved person's mind. Many slavery items, after forcibly controlling a target, would destroy the target's intelligence, turning the target into a fool or a fool. However, the slavery collar wouldn't. After being enslaved, Dougie Yan still had her own consciousness, thoughts, and way of doing things. However, her thoughts had been completely transformed by the slavery collar, and she had become a slave who followed Wong Kai's every command, even if she had to die for Wong Kai. Of course, she would still maintain her own thoughts, but the priority of these thoughts was lower than the tasks given to her by Wong Kai. To the enslaved Dougie Yan, Wong Kai's words were an imperial edict, An oracle, something she had to follow even if she had to give up her life. Even if Wang Kai wanted her to die, she would do it without hesitation. Dugian, in the future, in front of other people, you can't reveal your relationship with me, understand? Specifically, to show a moderate amount of respect and admiration for me. You're also not allowed to call me master or anything. Just like everyone else, call me His Highness Wang Kai, understand? Looking at the obedient Dugian beside him, Wang Kai calmly gave the order. Yes, His Highness Wang Kai, I understand. Hearing Wang Kai's order, Dugian immediately changed her tone and expression and then respectfully replied. Chapter 255. All right, let's go. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Wang Kai brought Dugian back to the main hall of Yi Lingling's private room. Ling it's all right. Your sister Yin, and I have resolved our misunderstanding. She won't meddle in our affairs anymore. Arriving in front of Yi Lingling, Wang Kai revealed a faint smile and spoke softly. Really? Yi Lingling looked at Wang Kai in disbelief. In her memory, Dugian was a very stubborn person. He wouldn't change his mind because of the words of others. Yes, Sister Ling I had some misunderstandings about His Highness Wang Kai. I said that in a fit of pique. Just now, His Highness Wang Kai and I had a good chat. The misunderstanding between us has been resolved. Actually, I also want to tell Ling what's in my heart. His Highness Wang Kai is so strong and so handsome. I'm envious, jealous, and hateful that he can favor Ling his sister. Duguyan hurriedly explained after hearing Yi Lingling's words. After being enslaved, everything Duguyan did was to serve Wang Kai. She also chose to cover up for Wang Kai. So that's the case. Let's resolve the misunderstanding. Sister Yin I don't think His Highness Wang Kai will take it to heart. After hearing Duguyan's words, a look of relief appeared on Yi Lingling's face. She smiled sweetly and comforted her. All right, Ling, said that you agreed to stay in the Heaven Do Empire after graduation. What's going on? At this moment, Wang Kai continued to ask. Oh, it's like this. Our Heaven Do Imperial Family Academy's battle team was established when we were Soul Elders. We have been fighting together for a long time. Before we met His Highness Wang Kai, we planned to stay in the Heaven Do Empire after graduation and form a Soul Master Legion together. That's about it. After hearing Wang Kai's question, Yi Lingling opened her mouth to answer. I see. That's not a problem. All right, if you choose to join the Martial Soul Hall after graduation, will you encounter any resistance? Wang Kai continued to ask. Resistance? If it's the captain and the others, they will definitely respect my choice. However, His Highness should know that I'm a member of the Nine-Hearted Begonia sect. The elders in the sect might not agree to let me join the Martial Soul Hall. Hearing Wang Kai's words, Yi Lingling's eyes revealed a trace of embarrassment as she replied. The elders in the sect? That's a small problem. All right, Ling if you stay in a Martial Soul holy city after the tournament, will there be any problems? After hearing Yi Lingling's reply, Wang Kai frowned slightly and continued to ask. This might be a little troublesome. If I stay in a Martial Soul holy city, my actions will definitely be seen as a traitor. If I'm in a Martial Soul Hall, they won't dare to find trouble with a Martial Soul Hall. However, my family still lives in the Earth sect. If that's the case, they will definitely be punished by the sect. I can't let that happen. Yi Lingling's eyes were filled with struggle, but she still explained the situation to Wang Kai in detail. I'll help you solve this problem. Ling how strong is the Nine-Hearted Begonia sect? Who are your family members? I can send someone to bring them out first. Wang Kai continued to ask after hearing this. The Nine-Hearted Begonia sect has a Soul de Law and 7 Soul Sages. That Soul de Law is my uncle, and his martial soul is also the Nine-Hearted Begonia sect. That's why he doesn't have much fighting strength. The 7 Soul Sages are guest elders. 3 are initial tier Soul Sages, 3 are intermediate tier Soul Sages, and 1 is an advanced tier Soul Sage. Their abilities are rather ordinary, but with my uncle's help, they can definitely resist an intermediate tier Soul de Loa. After hearing Wang Kai's words, Yi Lingling explained the Nine-Hearted Begonia sect's abilities in detail to Wang Kai. Is it only capable of resisting a mid-tier soul Doluo? That's not a problem. After hearing Yi Lingling's words, Wang Kai revealed a confident smile. Coincidentally, he had a soul Doluo, Li Ning, under his command. After obtaining the immortal herb to repair his foundation, Li Ning's cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds. Right now, he was a rank 82 soul Doluo. His fighting strength was far beyond his peers. He could crush an intermediate tier soul Doluo and even fight an advanced tier soul Doluo. Faced with Yi Lingling's problem, Li Ning could successfully rescue her family members as long as he acted alone. Really? If that's the case, I can stay in Martial Soul Holy City and stay by Your Highness' side without any problems. After hearing Wang Kai's words, the worry on Yi Lingling's face immediately faded. She revealed a look of joy in her eyes. After knowing that Wang Kai liked her, she didn't want to be separated from Wang Kai. That's right. However, you have to tell me the location of the nine-hearted begonia sect, the martial souls of those soul sages, and the names of your family members. Only then can I send someone to bring your parents over. Looking at Yi Lingling, Wang Kai gave a trace of a smile as he replied, Yes, there's no time to lose. Please send someone to rescue my family, Your Highness Wang Kai. Only then can I serve you with peace of mind. Yi Lingling continued to plead. No problem. Yin I have to discuss some other matters with your sister. You can go back and help me with the analysis. Is that all right? Wang Kai ordered Dugu Yin as he turned around. Yes, Your Highness Wang Kai. I understand. I'll explain everything to the team leader. Sister Ling I'll go back first. After hearing Wang Kai's order, Dugu Yin hurriedly replied. Yes, goodbye, Sister Yin On one side, Dugu Yin returned to the hotel where the Heaven Do Imperial Academy was located. On the other side, Wang Kai brought Yi Lingling to the Green Xian Hall to resolve her worries. As for Dugu Yin, because she had been enslaved by Wang Kai was prepared to let her stay in the Heaven Do Empire. He didn't need to bring her to the Martial Soul Hall so quickly. After the Soul Master tournament ended, Wang Kai was prepared to go to the City of Massacres. After he came out, he would come back and take Dugu Yin into his small plane. This way, he could avoid suspicion. However, there was a small problem. The enslavement necklace could only enslave early-stage Soul Kings, which meant Soul Masters below rank 53. Therefore, Wang Kai gave a strict order through the enslavement necklace. Before she received permission, she was not allowed to break through to rank 54. This way, she wouldn't be able to break through the shackles of the enslavement necklace. Chapter 256. Shui, Yuxian, Yiling, Qingli come. I have a new sister to introduce to all of you today. After returning to the Green Xian Hall, Wang Kai enthusiastically swapped places with Chihiro Snow, Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling. Then, he pulled Yi Lingling in front of him so that she could meet the other sisters in the family. Along the way, Wang Kai had already introduced Yi Lingling to her sisters. After knowing that she had so many sisters with illustrious statuses and natural talents, Yi Lingling felt incomparably fortunate. How fortunate was it to be able to become sisters with such outstanding girls? Of course, Yi Lingling also felt a little disappointed in her heart. However, Yi Lingling was also very clear that how could such a handsome and outstanding man like Wang Kai only have one wife to accompany him? To be able to be valued by His Highness Wang Kai, Yi Lingling felt that this was already the fortune of 3 lifetimes. How could she ask for more? Wow, Brother Wang Kai, you found us a new sister. Come, this little sister, introduce yourself to everyone. After hearing Wang Kai's words, Chihiro Snow's face revealed an intimate smile as she asked in a gentle voice. To Chihiro Snow, her heart had already been dedicated to Wang Kai. Therefore, when Wang Kai's family had more outstanding girls joining, she only felt happy and not jealous. As for Ning Yuxian, Dai Qingli, and Zhu Yiling, under Wang Kai's guidance, they were also very welcoming of the new sister's arrival. Hello, 4 sisters. My name is Yi Lingling, and I'm a disciple of the Nine-Hearted Begonia School of the 3 schools. My martial soul is the Nine-Hearted Begonia, and I'm now a rank 44 soul ancestor. I'm very happy and honored to be able to meet four sisters. After hearing Chihiro Snow's question, Yilingling hurriedly opened her mouth to answer. Oh, the nine-hearted begonia school. Father once said that the nine-hearted begonia school's martial soul is as powerful as the seven treasures glazed pagoda. It's just that it's more difficult to inherit. Since you have the nine-hearted begonia school's martial soul, it seems like you're a direct descendant of the nine-hearted begonia school. Looking at Yilingling, Ning Yuxian's face revealed a faint look of surprise as she said softly, Yes, I'm indeed the descendant of the nine-hearted begonia school's martial soul of this generation. This sister said that your martial soul is the seven treasures glazed pagoda. You must be the sister Ning Yuxian that His Highness Wang Kai mentioned. Hearing Ning Yuxian's words, asked Yuxian, And, I'm Ning Yuxian. With a knowing smile on her face, Ning Yuxian nodded. Little sister Ling, nice to meet you. I am Qianren Xue, Wang Kai's wife. I'm Dai Qingli. I'm Zhu Yiling. At this moment, the three girls at the side greeted Yilingling warmly. Yilingling's appearance, figure, and temperament had undoubtedly reached their standards. Furthermore, Yilingling's strength and martial soul were also extremely outstanding, which made them very satisfied. With such an outstanding sister joining their family, becoming a new member of their family, and sharing Wang Kai's powerful and lasting care, they naturally welcomed her from the bottom of their hearts. That's right, Sister Ling. Can you take off your veil? Sister Ling, looks so beautiful. We also want to see Sister Ling's true appearance. At this moment, Zhu Yiling looked at Yilingling with a smile and asked curiously, Of course, wearing a veil in front of outsiders is a habit of a nine-hearted begonia sect. However, the four of you aren't outsiders, so if you want to see my appearance, I will naturally comply. As she agreed, Yilingling gently lifted her jade-like hand and took off the black veil covering her face, revealing her beautiful face. Her white and smooth little dimples, her tall and straight nose, and her pink and tender cherry lips. Every part of her face was incomparably exquisite, causing one to be unable to help but want to take a bite out of it. It was extremely tempting. Wow, Sister Ling, you're so beautiful. Yes, Sister Ling, is super cute after taking off her veil. Yes, as expected of the girl that our husband has taken a fancy to. Looking at Yilingling, Chihiro Snow and the other girls couldn't help but praise her. Birds of a feather flocked together with Qianren Xue and the others. Therefore, when they saw Yilingling, who was also a super beauty, they couldn't help but admire her from head to toe. The four of you must be joking. Compared to the four of you, Ling feels that my appearance and temperament are still lacking. Yilingling was also very intelligent. When she heard the praises of the four girls, she also revealed a peaceful smile on her face. Then, she praised the four girls. Just like that, the five beautiful girls chatted with each other and quickly became familiar with each other. All right, since you've already met Sister Ling, I'll bring her back first. She still has to participate in the Soul Master Tournament tomorrow. If she goes back too late, her teammates will be anxious. Seeing that the girls were chatting happily, Wang Kai also came up to remind them. All right, Sister Ling, let's talk again next time. All right, when will Sister Ling, move into the Green Xian Hall together? After hearing Wang Kai's words, the girls also stopped. Then, Chihiro Snow also came in front of Yilingling and asked, Sister Jin Xue, after the Soul Master Tournament ends, I should be moving into the Green Xian Hall. If I return to the Heaven Do Empire, the elders in the sect will definitely not agree to my marriage with Lord Wang Kai. Once I return, I might not be able to come back. Therefore, I don't plan to return to the Heaven Do Empire. I plan to come back after the tournament ends. After hearing Chihiro Snow's question, Yilingling also explained softly. All right, Sister Ling, I understand. Then we will make preparations in the Green Xian Hall to welcome Sister Ling. After hearing Yilingling's words, Chihiro Snow nodded and smiled again. Thank you, for sisters. Then goodbye, for sisters. Just as they were about to leave, Yilingling also politely said goodbye to Chihiro Snow and the other girls. All right, goodbye, Sister Ling. Smiling at Yilingling, Chihiro, Snow, and the other girls also warmly said goodbye to her. All right, Linger, now I will bring you to find one of my followers. When the time comes, he will help you bring your family over. It's getting late. In order not to waste your time, how about I carry you over this time? After leaving the Green Xian Hall, Wang Kai prepared to bring Yi Lingling to find Li Ning and asked him to help Yi Lingling bring her family back. All right, thank you, Prince Wang Kai. Yi Lingling nodded. Seeing that Yi Lingling didn't object, Wang Kai also carried her in a princess carry and ran towards Li Ning's residence. Chapter 257. Young master, why are you here? Is there something you need? After entering Li Ning's residence, Li Ning personally came out to welcome him after he was notified. When he saw Wang Kai, he first bowed to Wang Kai before asking respectfully, "You don't have to be so polite, teacher." "That's right. I'm here today because I need your help with something. I wonder if you're willing to do it for me?" Wang Kai asked Li Ning with a smile as he gently placed Yi Lingling on the ground. "Of course. If young master has any requests, please feel free to let me know." After hearing Wang Kai's words, Li Ning immediately agreed. He was someone who knew how to repay kindness. Back then, Wang Kai had given him a miraculous treasure that made up for his foundation, allowing him to become a soul Dala and even a titled Dala. Wang Kai's actions had undoubtedly given him a new life. Li Ning also planned to serve Wang Kai, even if he had to go through fire and water. "Very good, Linger. Tell Senior Li Ning about the situation then." Wang Kai instructed with a smile as he looked at Yi Lingling. "Thank you, my husband. Senior Li Ning, it's something like this." As she thanked Wang Kai, Yi Lingling turned to Li Ning and told him her request in detail. "Is that so?" After hearing Yi Lingling's words, Li Ning couldn't help but frown. "What's wrong, teacher? Do you think this mission is difficult?" After seeing Li Ning's expression, Wang Kai revealed a look of confusion as he asked. In terms of strength, Li Ning's fighting strength shouldn't be inferior to the few soul sages from the 9-star Begonia sect. Did he have something to worry about? "Young master, this mission is naturally not difficult for me. With my strength, not to mention saving 2 people from a 9-hearted Begonia sect, I can even kill all the soul masters in the 9-hearted Begonia sect. However, young master, you represent the martial soul hall after all. If I do this, will it bring you trouble?" Li Ning shook his head and voiced his concerns. "That's true. However, I don't think a small 9 hearts Begonia sect would dare to find trouble with our martial spirit palace because of this. Besides, we didn't go to their sects to snatch people for no reason, but to protect them from harm. Our actions are righteous, and they can't blame us for it. You don't have to worry." Hearing Li Ning's concerns, Wang Kai smiled and comforted him. "Yes, young master, you're right. I'm indeed overthinking. A small 9-hearted Begonia sect is indeed not worth our concern." Nodding slightly, Li Ning agreed with Wang Kai's words. "However, what you said just now is not without reason. It's true that we're going to rescue people. However, you'd better avoid exposing your identity and having a direct conflict with them. This will give them a way out. Otherwise, it will be detrimental to the reputation of our martial spirit palace." At this moment, Wang Kai added. Then, he searched the system store with his mind. Face-changing mask, exchange price, 5 origin points, effect. This is a product from a certain technological civilization. It's made of magical nanomaterials and can completely change a person's appearance and face shape. Although there were no soul tools that could change one's appearance on the Dolawa continent, and only a few soul masters with special soul skills and martial souls could change their appearance, in many other worlds, it was very easy to temporarily change one's appearance and face shape. Wang Kai chose the cheapest face-changing mask. "Teacher, come, this is for you." After spending 5 origin points to exchange for the face-changing mask from the system store, Wang Kai handed the face-changing mask to Li Ning. It was something similar to a human's face. It had a pale yellow appearance and was very thin, but it wasn't light. At first glance, it looked a little scary. Seeing the face-changing mask in Wang Kai's hand, the battle-hardened Lin Ning wasn't frightened, but he still showed a curious expression. "This is a magical soul tool that I found in a secret realm. It can change a person's appearance. when you carry out this mission. You can wear it to avoid unnecessary trouble." Wang Kai smiled and pushed all the questions to the long-lost soul tool technology. "I see. To be able to obtain such a treasure, young master is really lucky. However, may I ask how to use this soul tool?" Li Ning revealed an envious expression, then humbly asked for guidance. "This is very simple. As long as you put it close to your face, this soul tool will automatically fuse with your face temporarily. After that, you can freely change your appearance according to your wishes. If you want to take it off, you only need to use your soul power to catalyze it, and it will be easily removed." At this moment, Wang Kai smiled and explained, "How magical! Then, young master, when should I set off?" With a look of relief on his face, Li Ning continued to ask, "During the team competition, we still need a teacher to stay behind to give us some pointers. After the team competition is over, you can go when the individual competition is held. Come, I'll give you this face-changing mask first." As he spoke, Wang Kai handed the face-changing mask to Li Ning. "Yes, I promise to complete the mission." In the end, Li Ning also replied solemnly with the face-changing mask. "All right, let's go. Do you want me to carry you back?" After leaving Li Ning residence with Yi Lingling, Wang Kai turned around and asked, "Your Highness Wang Kai, this place is not far from the hotel we are staying at, so there's no need to trouble you. You should go accompany the sisters. I'll go back by myself. However, thank you very much for your concern, Lord Wang Kai." With that, Yi Lingling tiptoed and kissed Wang Kai lightly on the side of his face. "This is what I should do. Since you are willing to be my wife, I should be responsible for you." With a charming, sunny, and confident smile on his face, Wang Kai leaned over and kissed Yi Lingling on the lips before bidding her farewell. On one side, Yi Lingling returned to her hotel alone, while on the other side, Wang Kai turned around and returned to the Green Xian Hall. When he arrived at the Green Xian Hall, Wang Kai naturally couldn't help but be intimate with the girls. Although Chihiro Snow and the other three girls were all well-educated girls and understood Wang Kai's powerful combat strength, so they didn't feel jealous of the new sisters. However, when they saw the new sisters join, they still felt a little resentful towards Wang Kai. Of course, they also understood that Wang Kai had an important competition tomorrow, so they didn't pester Wang Kai to play with them. Wang Kai also let them have a full meal of the liquid of vitality to appease their emotions. Chapter 258. The next morning, which was also the third day of the finals, Wang Kai led the Martial Spirit Hall team onto the stage once again. That morning, the Martial Spirit Palace's opponent was the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team. As the defeated team of the Martial Spirit Palace, the Star Luo Imperial Academy's team wasn't able to hold on much longer this time. They were easily defeated by Wang Kai's team. In the afternoon, the Martial Spirit Hall team finally defeated their second-last opponent, the Godwind Academy team. As the name implied, the Godwind Academy team's martial souls were all related to the wind. Their strength was below average among the 8 teams that had entered the finals. Their captain, Feng Outyan, was a rank 52 Soul King with innate full soul force. His martial soul was the Gale twin-headed wolf, and he was very strong. He even had a self-created soul skill and was considered a genius among geniuses. Of course, his team members weren't that strong, but most of them were high-level soul kings. Only a female auxiliary-type soul master had a rank 44 soul power. Following the referee's words, the battle was about to start. Although they knew that they were going to lose, they still gave it their all to fight the Martial Spirit Hall team. Twin-headed wolf possession. Gale demonic wolf 36 consecutive slashes. After using the martial spirit possession and his soul skill, Feng Xiaoyan's skin suddenly grew countless hair. His claws became extremely sharp, and his eyes were frighteningly green. The power of the wind lingered around his body, and then a terrifying wind blade was condensed to kill Wang Kai. Your self-created soul skill isn't bad, but your cultivation is too weak. Looking at Feng Xiaotian, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a trace of admiration. Although Feng Xiaotian's strength was 108,000 miles away from his own, and he wasn't even comparable to Tang San, Feng Xiaotian was a native of the Doloa continent. He wasn't born into a noble family, and for him to be able to achieve what he had today, Feng Xiaotian could be considered a genius. But compared to Wang Kai, Feng Xiaotian's strength wasn't even close. Wang Kai was only using a small portion of his strength to suppress the power of an early-stage Soul Emperor, but that didn't stop Feng Xiaotian from being able to defend himself. In the end, Wang Kai swept Feng Xiaotian off the stage. On the other side, facing the Godwind Academy's team that was generally 5 levels lower than them, the rest of the members of the Martial Spirit Palace team also attacked with heavy blows and easily defeated them. In this way, the Godwind Academy was defeated. And just like that, it was finally the afternoon of the 4th day of the competition. This was also the end of the group battle. The most eye-catching match of the morning was naturally the match between Shrek Academy's team and the Martial Soul Hall's team. As the only 2 teams that had achieved complete victories in the first 3 days, this match had basically decided who the champion would be. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the Martial Soul Hall's team took the stage first. Wang Kai, Hulaina, Yin, Evil Moon, Yu Hao, Li Weming, and Sulan wore the Martial Soul Hall's uniform and took the stage. Afterwards, they stood on one side of the stage. On the other side, under the enthusiastic word of the host, the 7 members of Shrek Academy's team took the stage one after another. Although they were still wearing that ugly green uniform, no Soul Master dared to look down on them anymore. Instead, they were full of respect and envy. This was the Dolua continent where strength reigned supreme. Strength was the way of the king, and strength was everything. On the other side, Wang Kai used his eye of insight to observe the 7 members of Shrek's team. They were Captain Dai Mubai, Martial Soul, Evil-Eyed White Tiger, Rank 53 Assault Type, Soul King, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black soul rings. His 5 soul skills were White Tiger's Shield, White Tiger's Fierce Light Wave, White Tiger's Vajra Barrier, White Tiger's Meteor Shower, and White Tiger's Devil God Transformation. Vice Captain Tang San, Martial Soul, Blue Silver Grass, Clear Sky Hammer. Rank 54 Control Type, Soul King. 2 yellow, 1 purple, and 2 black soul rings. His 5 soul skills were Bind, Parasitic, Binding Spiderweb, Blue Silver Cage, and Blue Silver Tyrant Spear. Team member Zhu Zhuqing, Martial Soul, Netherworld Civet. Rank 51 Agility Type, Soul Ancestor. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black soul rings. Her 4 soul skills were Netherworld Stab, Netherworld 100 Claws, Netherworld Slash, Netherworld Shadow Clone, and Netherworld Shadow Link. Team member Oscar, Martial Soul, Sausage. Rank 49 Food Type Soul Ancestor. 2 yellow and 2 purple soul rings. His 4 soul skills were Recovery Sausage, Detoxification Sausage, Rapid Flying Mushroom Sausage, and Excitement Pink Sausage. Team member Ma Hongjun, Martial Soul, Evil Fire Phoenix. Rank 49 Assault Type, Soul Ancestor. 2 yellow and 2 purple soul rings. His 4 soul skills were Phoenix Fireline, Phoenix Bathed in Flames, Soaring Phoenix Wings, and Phoenix Sky Whistle. Team member Ning Rongrong, Martial Soul, 9 Treasures Glazed Pagoda. Martial Soul evolved due to another opportunity. Rank 49 Auxiliary Type, Soul Ancestor. 2 yellow and 2 purple soul rings. Her 4 main soul skills were Strength Amplification, Agility Amplification, Soul Power Amplification, and Defense Amplification. Team member Xiao Wu, Martial Soul, Softbone Demon Rabbit. Rank 47 Assault Type, Soul Ancestor. 2 yellow and 2 purple soul rings. Her 4 soul skills were Waist Bow, Charm, Teleportation, and Invincible Golden Body. Compared to the Martial Soul Hall team, other than the Martial Soul Hall team that had an unbeatable Soul Emperor like Wang Kai, the Shrek Academy team's fighting strength was not inferior to the Martial Soul Hall team. Silence. Both teams bow to each other. Team member Martial Soul Hall. Team leader Wang Kai. Martial Soul Shura. Rank 63 Assault Type, Soul Emperor. Team member Shrek Academy. Team leader Dai Mubai. Martial Soul, Evil-Eyed White Tiger. Rank 53, Assault Type, Soul King. Following the referee's words, Wang Kai and Dai Mubai reported their names. After that, both teams bowed to each other and looked at each other with eyes full of fighting spirit. Both teams were eager to win this Soul Master Tournament, not only for the Soul Bone reward, but also for the glory. Both teams, release your martial souls. Following the referee's shout, the members of the Martial Soul Hall team and Shrek Academy team channeled their soul power and released their martial souls, or used martial soul possession. Although Tang San was 9 ranks lower than him, Wang Kai didn't dare to be careless. He directly used Emperor Shura's possession. Suddenly, extremely tough Shura's scales grew on Wang Kai's body and completely enveloped Wang Kai's body. At the same time, Wang Kai's heart started to beat more vigorously. Boiling hot Shura's blood surged in his body, causing Wang Kai's every cell to enter the most active and excited state. Not only that, but 2 mighty Shura's horns also grew on both sides of Wang Kai's forehead. They were extremely sharp and ferocious. Wang Kai's fingernails also became thicker and turned into Shura's claws that flashed with black light. At the same time, blood-red Shura's thorns emerged from Wang Kai's body, turning Wang Kai's body into the most terrifying human-shaped weapon. Chapter 259. On the other side, Shrek's 7 monsters had also released their martial souls, or possessed their martial souls, to form a circular formation. Standing in front of all 7 members of Shrek Academy's team was the spiritual leader of Shrek's 7 monsters, Tang San. At this moment, a ball of green light appeared above his right hand. Within the ball of green light, there was a ball of blue silver grass. Although blue silver grass was considered a trash martial soul in the world of soul masters, Tang San had already proven himself and his martial soul's strength in the past competitions. Therefore, no one dared to underestimate Tang San and his fighting strength. Behind Tang San were Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Mubai, and Ning Rongrong. Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai stood on both sides, protecting Ning Rongrong in the middle. At this moment, Dai Mubai had already completed his martial soul possession. White hair grew on his skin, and his muscles swelled up. He looked very muscular. A huge king character appeared on his forehead. His eyes flashed with a fierce light, and his sharp claws flashed with a cold light. He looked very dangerous. Just like Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing also used the Netherworld Civets possession. Her eyes flashed with a cunning light, and her body was shrouded in a layer of faint black fog, which made her figure unpredictable. She looked very agile. In the center of everyone, Ning Rongrong was holding the 9 treasures glazed pagoda in her right hand. The other 6 members of Shrek Academy's team felt their bodies become lighter and their soul power become stronger where the 9-colored light shone on them. At the back of Shrek Academy's team were Ma Hongjun, Xiao Wu, and Oscar. Like the 3 in the middle, Oscar, who was a food-type auxiliary-type soul master, was in the middle, while Xiao Wu and Ma Hongjun were on both sides. After unleashing her martial soul possession, Xiao Wu's ears suddenly elongated into rabbit ears, and a layer of furry hair grew on the surface of her body. Her eyes turned red, and her aura surged. On the other hand, Ma Hongjuan's hair and eyes turned crimson red, and a layer of flames floated around his body, causing the temperature around him to rise by a few degrees. Oscar, who was in the middle of the 3 of them, also released his sausage martial soul, which floated in front of him. Begin. As the referee spoke, Wang Kai didn't lead the 7 members of the Martial Soul Hall to attack. Instead, he looked at the 7 members of Shrek's team cautiously. Change the formation. Just when they were in a deadlock, Tang San, who was the leader, suddenly shouted. Following Tang San's command, the formation of Shrek's 7 monsters changed. The original circular formation became a straight line. Tang San stood at the very front, while Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar formed a straight line behind him. Following that, Oscar suddenly placed his hands on Ning Rongrong's back. Following that, dense layers of purple soul force rose from his body and surged wildly into Ning Rongrong's body. What are they doing? All of the Soul Masters present were filled with questions as they watched this scene unfold. Even the members of Martial Soul Hall and BB Don were no exception. That man, what kind of strategy did he arrange? Haha, I'll wait and see. BB Don thought to himself as he watched the changes in Shrek's 7 monsters. Wong Kai was also appraising Shrek's 7 monsters, but he wasn't surprised in the slightest. This was because he knew what they were going to do next, and he had already prepared a trump card to counter them. When Oscar injected his soul force into Ning Rongrong's body, Ning Rongrong revealed a serious look on her face. Her 4 soul rings lit up at the same time. Following that, she placed her hands on Xiao Wu's body. It was obvious that Ning Rongrong had the talent to fuse rings, just like Hu Wu. Following her actions, 4 streaks of 9-colored light surged out from the bottom 4 levels of the 9 Treasures glazed pagoda. They flowed along her arms and into Zhu Zhuqing's body. A strange scene occurred. Zhu Zhuqing's body was covered by a layer of faint 9-colored light under the stimulation of the powerful auxiliary soul force. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing raised her jade-like arm and transferred her soul force into Xiao Wu's body. Following the transfer of soul power, the 9-colored light suddenly became a little stronger. At this moment, Xiao Wu did the same. She transferred soul power into Ma Hongjuan's body along with her own soul power. Immediately, the flames on the surface of his body became even more vigorous. However, outside the flames, there was still a faint 9-colored light. Following that, this power was transferred into Dai Mubai's body. At this moment, the 9-colored light around Dai Mubai's body seemed to have materialized. His aura was also increasing rapidly. The white tiger fur on his body opened up, making him look very powerful. This is a 7-body martial soul fusion skill. Seeing this scene, BB Don, who was silently watching the competition from the Pontus Palace, couldn't control his body anymore. He stood up from his seat, and his eyes flickered with disbelief. After that, he subconsciously looked towards the resting area outside the competition grounds. Over there, Yu Xiaojing was staring at the competition grounds. Although his expression seemed calm, he was incomparably nervous. Yu Xiaojing, is this the letter of challenge you gave me? Right at this moment, Dai Mubai also moved. He took a step forward and slammed his palms on a Tang San's back. Furthermore, he crazily infused his own soul power into Tang San's body, as well as his own soul power. This time, Tang San's body trembled violently. The 9-colored light didn't appear on the surface of his body. Instead, it exploded with a terrifying aura. This is actually a 7-body martial soul fusion skill. It's really heaven-defying. Yes, as expected of the disciple of the Grandmaster, who proposed the 10 great theories of martial souls. The Soul Masters who were invited to watch the competition were all powerful and famous figures in the world of Soul Masters. When they saw this, they finally realized the purpose of Shrek's 7 monsters' actions. Their eyes flickered with astonishment, and they looked at Yu Xiaojing with eyes full of admiration. Even though this wasn't a terrifying 7-person martial soul fusion skill, it was still an extremely heaven-defying feat. One had to know that every single one of Shrek's 7 monsters had a completely different martial soul, and there was almost no connection between them. Generally speaking, even soul masters whose martial souls and soul skills were extremely similar would find it extremely difficult and astonishing to use a 7-body martial soul fusion skill. For Shrek's 7 monsters, who had completely different martial souls, to be able to use a 7-body martial soul fusion skill was truly heaven-defying. Even the sect leaders and titled Delua present had looks of disbelief in their eyes. However, when a 9-colored light connected the 7 of them together, Shrek's 7 monsters had finally completed such a magnificent feat. Following everyone's astonished gazes, surging black light surged out from Tang San's hands. Chapter 260. What's that? Heavens, it's the Clear Sky Hammer. It's actually the Clear Sky Hammer. Twin martial souls. So it's actually twin martial souls. No wonder a soul master with a mere blue-silver grass martial soul can have such terrifying strength. Under the flabbergasted gazes of the audience, a completely black hammer appeared along with the black light and floated in midair. Immediately after, Tang San's right hand gently grabbed forward, and the clear sky hammer naturally appeared in Tang San's hand. This hammer was similar to a miniature forging hammer. The length of the hammer's handle was about 1.5 meters, and there were many inscriptions on it. On the cylindrical head of the hammer, there were circles of extremely complicated blood-red patterns that were filled with a terrifying aura. On the surface of the clear sky hammer's head, there was a frightening light that caused one's heart to palpitate. Following the appearance of the clear sky hammer, Wang Kai's aura surged once again, and his eyes spat out golden light. He was as majestic as a demon that had descended into the world. His aura was shocking, and no one dared to look directly at him. At this moment, Tang San also used his gaze to stare at Wang Kai. His eyes were filled with surging battle intent, and then he raised the clear sky hammer in his hand. Just as Tang San raised his hand, a thunderous roar sounded from the clear sky hammer. The originally small hammer actually expanded in the air. In the blink of an eye, the head of the clear sky hammer had become like a water tank and was even larger than Tang San's body. However, the strange thing was that such a huge clear sky hammer was strangely stable under Tang San's not-so-thick arms. It didn't move at all, and it seemed to have fused with Tang San's body. Not only that, the huge light patterns on the clear sky hammer's body completely exploded at this moment, and the dark golden light was incomparably dazzling. At this moment, Tang San himself seemed to have become the clear sky hammer's handle, and his body seemed to have fused with the clear sky hammer in his hand. The clear sky hammer seemed to have become a part of his body, and it was intimately connected with his consciousness. Tang San's aura surged once again. Artifact, soul, true body. Many of the spectators had already come to their senses at the sight of Tang San's actions, and they turned to Shrek's 7 monsters with astonishment and admiration in their eyes. BB Don, who was spectating the match from the Pontiff's palace, also clenched his fists with a complex look in his eyes. After a soul master with a beast martial soul reached rank 70, their 7th soul skill would definitely be martial soul true body. They would be able to completely transform into their martial soul's original body. Their attributes would be greatly increased, and they would gain immense explosive power. Their strength would increase exponentially. Tool Soul Masters were slightly different from B Soul Masters. Their 7th soul skill was the Tool Soul True Body, which allowed them to become the Tool Soul Spirit, allowing the Tool Soul's power to reach its peak. B Soul Masters were undoubtedly more powerful than non-control type Tool Soul Masters before rank 70. But after rank 70, Tool Soul Masters could rely on their Tool Soul True Bodies to surpass B Soul Masters. However, who would have thought that a Tool Soul True Body that only Soul Sages could possess would appear in the finals of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy tournament? Furthermore, the Tool Soul that this Tool Soul True Body had unleashed was the Clear Sky Hammer, which was known as the #1 Tool Soul on the continent. In fact, even Tang San didn't expect himself to be able to unleash the power of the Tool Soul True Body. However, he did it subconsciously when he held the Clear Sky Hammer in his hand. The immense power formed a strange cycle between Tang San's body and the Clear Sky Hammer. It seemed as if the power was about to break out of his body. After combining the soul power of Shrek's 7 monsters, and after being enhanced by Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures Glazed Pagoda, Tang San's soul power had reached an extremely frightening level. It had even surpassed that of ordinary soul sages. This was why he could unleash the Clear Sky Body. Wang Kai, you're very strong. However, you'll definitely lose against my Clear Sky Body. Surrender obediently. At this moment, Tang San turned to look at Wang Kai and revealed a proud smile. After Wang Kai spoke, everyone turned to look at Wang Kai. Although Wang Kai was very strong and could even face the martial soul fusion skills of 2 Soul Kings head-on, his opponent, Tang San, had unleashed the legendary Tool Soul True Body. Furthermore, Tang San's martial soul was the strongest offensive martial soul on the continent. the Clear Sky Hammer. With the strength of the Clear Sky body, Tang San's offensive strength could definitely reach that of an ordinary early-tier Soul Doloa. Wang Kai's strongest offensive strength was only that of an intermediate-tier Soul Sage. Furthermore, Wang Kai seemed to need a long time to accumulate power to unleash such a powerful attack. How was he going to deal with Tang San's attack? Wang Kai revealed a mocking smile as he looked at Tang San. After that, he said plainly, "Tang San, the fusion skill of Shrek's 7 monsters is very strong. However, you're dreaming if you think you could defeat us. If you had such powerful soul power and battle prowess, I would naturally admit defeat. However, this 7-figure fusion technique is ultimately the power of the 7 of you. No matter how well the 7 of you combine your powers, there's still a flaw in it. Attack!" In the blink of an eye, Hulaina and Evil Moon made their moves. First, it was Hulaina. In less than half a second, the 5 soul rings behind Hulaina flickered rhythmically. First, it was the outermost black 5th soul ring. Then it was the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd soul rings. Finally, it was the yellow 1st soul ring. When the last soul ring fluctuated, Evil Moon, who was behind Hulaina, also moved. Evil Moon didn't have 1 moon blade, but 2. At this moment, they turned blood red at the same time. Furthermore, they produced a faint fluctuation with Hulaina, who was in the distance. Immediately after, Evil Moon leaned towards Hulaina. In the end, his body merged with Hulaina's. At the moment when Evil Moon and Hulaina's bodies collided, a thick red light curtain suddenly appeared and then wrapped their bodies together. Immediately after, the layer of red light quickly exploded outwards. Like a ball of light, it spread out and enveloped almost half of the arena. Martial Soul Fusion Skill. Looking at the changes of Evil Moon and Hulaina in the arena, the audience showed a trace of surprise and doubt on their faces. They were surprised that the Martial Soul Hall had hidden so deeply. They were puzzled about how the Martial Soul Hall could resist Shrek Academy's attack. Although Evil Moon and Hulaina were both Soul Kings, their martial soul fusion skill could only reach the power of an intermediate Soul Sage at most. Facing the mighty Clear Sky Hammer, it was almost impossible for them to win. Just as the audience was puzzled, a red light flashed, and a strange figure appeared in the red light. This figure had long blood-red hair, but its face was extremely handsome, and it was difficult to tell if it was a man or a woman. In its hands, there were 2 crescent blades that were almost twice as large. You want to stop us with this? Looking at the figure formed by Hulaina and Evil Moon, Tang San showed a trace of contempt in his eyes and asked faintly, "You'll know soon enough." At this moment, the blood-red figure formed by Hulaina and Evil Moon in mid-air sneered faintly. Then, a strange spiritual fluctuation spread out from the blood-red figure in all directions. Chapter 261. Is this the spiritual attack? Tang San's eyes flashed with a tinge of uneasiness and fear as he sensed the strange undulations in the air. Tang San didn't expect the Martial Soul Hall to have such a trick up their sleeves. In order to unleash the 7-person fusion skill, which was the clear heavens body that Tang San was currently using, Shrek's 7 monsters had to be in an extremely special state in order to fuse their soul power into one and unleash the skill. If any of them made a mistake, the 7-person fusion skill could only fail. Furthermore, there was a high chance that it would backfire on the caster. Wang Kai had originally noticed Hulaina's spiritual attack ability. However, Tang San estimated that Hulaina's spiritual power was only at the level of a Soul Emperor at most. After several fortuitous encounters, Tang San's spiritual power had already reached the level of a Soul Sage. He thought that he could easily block Hulaina's spiritual attack on him and his companions and successfully unleash the 7-person fusion skill. It was a pity that he had met Wang Kai, who was also a transmigrator and was familiar with part of the timeline. Wang Kai had already planned to save Hulaina and Evil Moon's martial soul fusion skill, Demonic Charm, for last when the competition had begun. He wanted to use it against Shrek's 7 monsters 7-person fusion skill. Unlike the Netherworld White Tiger and Icy Withering, Hulaina and Evil Moon's martial soul fusion skill, Demonic Charm, wasn't focused on offense. Instead, it focused on control and spiritual power. After unleashing Demonic Charm, Hulaina and Evil Moon's spiritual attack had already reached the level of a mid-tier soul sage. Faced with such a spiritual attack, Tang Sen could still block it and remain unaffected. However, he couldn't help the other 6 monsters. Tang San's eyes flickered with purplish gold light as his immense spiritual power swept past them. He frantically activated his purple demon eyes in an attempt to block Evil Moon and Hulaina's spiritual attack. However, his efforts were in vain. The terrifying spiritual attack quickly bypassed Tang San's defenses and struck the 6 monsters behind him. Dai Mu Bai, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar instantly felt their minds go blank under the terrifying spiritual attack. The soul power in their bodies also went out of control. Only Xiao Wu was unaffected by the spiritual attack. However, after experiencing such a change, Shrek's 7 monsters 7-person fusion skill was completely dispelled. Without the support of his immense soul power, the enormous clear sky hammer in Tang San's hand immediately shrunk. At the same time, Tang San felt a sweet taste in his throat. The soul power in his body became chaotic, and his tendons and veins also felt as if they were being torn apart. His face turned pale, and the other 6 monsters behind him also suffered from the backlash of their 7-person fusion skill. Their faces were also a little pale. Tang San, your 7-person fusion skill is very impressive. However, I've already said that your 7-person fusion skill is ultimately the strength of the 7 of you. No matter how well you combine your strengths, there will still be flaws. Tang San, do you have anything else to say? After dispelling Shrek's 7 monsters 7-person fusion skill, Wang Kai calmly looked at Tang San, who was a little pale. At this moment, the spectators in the stadium finally recovered from their shock. They looked at Wang Kai with admiration in their eyes. BB Don, who was watching the match from the Pontiff's palace, also heaved a long sigh of relief. You Xiaojiang, I've won this time. Wang Kai, you're also very impressive. I have nothing to say. However, Shrek's 7 monsters haven't lost yet. If you want to become the champion, you have to fight. At this moment, Tang San looked coldly at Wang Kai from the center of the stage. He gritted his teeth and spoke word by word. After that, he put away his clear sky hammer, which didn't have any soul rings attached to it, and released his blue-silver grass. Very good. You got guts. I'll naturally accompany you to the end. Let's see what other tricks you have up your sleeves. Wang Kai smiled coldly as he looked at Tang San. After that, he picked up Shura's Dragon Slayer spear. After dispelling Shrek's 7 monsters 7-person fusion skill, the Martial Soul Hall team's victory was set. The failed 7-person fusion skill not only drained a lot of Shrek's 7 monster soul power, but also left them with some internal injuries. They were no match for the Martial Soul Hall team at their peak. Right now, Tang Sen didn't have any hope of victory. However, he wasn't willing to give up just like that. He still wanted to fight to the death. What if he succeeded? Seeing Tang San's determined gaze, the other 6 members of Shrek's team quickly adjusted their states and prepared to continue fighting. Super Recovery Sausage. Let's use pink sausage together. Following the soul incantation, Oscar's 1st and 4th soul rings flickered continuously behind him. After that, 6 super recovery sausages that could recover soul power and 3 pink sausages that could temporarily increase a soul master's fighting strength appeared in Oscar's hands. He passed them to his teammates. After doing all this, Oscar's soul power was almost completely depleted. He was the first to leave the arena. The 6 members of Shrek Academy's team quickly ate the super recovery sausage. Although their injuries weren't completely healed, they were temporarily suppressed, and their soul power recovered a little. Tang San, Zhu Zhuqing, and Dai Mu Bai, the 3 Soul Kings, each ate an excitation pink sausage, and their soul power auras increased. At the same time, Ning Rongrong fully activated her 9 treasures glazed pagoda to provide soul power and other elemental enhancements to the remaining 5. At this moment, Li Wiming also unleashed her soul skill. She strengthened the members of the Martial Soul Hall team. At the same time, everyone from the Martial Soul Hall team arrived in front of Shrek's team. Netherworld, White Tiger. Seeing the Martial Soul Hall team in front of them, Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing held each other's hands. The Netherworld, White Tiger reappeared and pounced towards Wang Kai with a tiger roar. Your opponent is me. At this moment, Evil Moon and Hulaina, who were using the bewitching Martial Soul Fusion skill, charged forward and stopped the Netherworld White Tiger. Tang San, today I will let you know what true strength is. Limitless Blood Fiend Spear Technique. As he sneered, Wang Kai raised a spear and aimed at Tang San. As the child of destiny, Tang San could only be absorbed by Wang Kai if he was defeated by him. It was the most beneficial to Wang Kai's future development. I'm not afraid of you. 8 Spider Spear. With a cold shout, 8 2-meter-long spider legs that flickered with poisonous light appeared behind Tang San's back. They were incomparably sharp and looked very sinister. After that, they charged towards Wang Kai. External Soul Bone. Immediately, a knowledgeable soul master outside the arena saw something fishy. His eyes were filled with envy. At the same time, Xiao Wu and Yu Hao of Shrek's 7 monsters were fighting. Ma Hongjun and Yin stood together, dividing the competition into 4 groups. Chapter 262. Clang. Wang Kai's Shura's Dragon Slayer spear clashed with Tang San's 8 Spider Spear in midair, causing an ear-piercing sound to ring out. Tang San's 8 Spider Spear was a rare external soul bone, and it wasn't much weaker than Wang Kai's Shura's Dragon Slayer spear. However, as a soul emperor with a god's martial soul, how could a mere soul king like Tang San compare to Wang Kai's strength? Even with 40% of Ning Rongrong's strength, Tang San's strength couldn't compare to Wang Kai's. Under Wang Kai's all-out attack, an indescribable force flowed through the 8 Spider Spear and into Tang San's body. Tang San was forced back a few steps by this force, and he only managed to stabilize himself by stabbing the 8 Spider Spear into the ground. However, his internal organs were still churning, and there seemed to be a faint buzzing sound in his ears. In fact, if not for the mysterious heaven method and the fact that he had used an ingenious technique to deflect the force, Wang Kai's attack would have caused Tang San to spit out blood, even if he didn't lose consciousness. Wang Kai didn't hold back against Tang San, and he used more than 80% of his strength in his first attack. Blue-Silver Tyrant Spear. Tang San glared coldly at Wang Kai as he roared. His 5th soul ring lit up behind him, and a bright blue light condensed in Tang San's hand to form a mighty and domineering spear. However, this spear wasn't blood red but blue. Again, Wang Kai smiled coldly as he looked at Tang San. After that, he tapped the ground with 1 foot, and his body transformed into a streak of blood that shot towards Tang San. Fine. Blue-Silver Prison. Looking at Wang Kai, Tang San knew that he was no match for him, so he activated his soul force. Following the infusion of soul power, Tang San's 1st and 4th soul rings lit up. Suddenly, a sturdy cage formed from blue-silver grass trapped Wang Kai within. At the same time, many thick vines emerged from the void and wrapped around Wang Kai's body. Shura's Devil Flame. Looking at the blue-silver grass beside him, Wang Kai smiled faintly and activated his 6th soul skill. Suddenly, Wang Kai's 6th soul ring lit up, and countless blood-red Shura's demonic flames shot out from Wang Kai's body. It was an indisputable fact that fire countered wood. Furthermore, Wang Kai's body wasn't covered by ordinary fire, but by Shura's demonic flames, which had a terrifying temperature and corrosive properties. Under Shura's demonic flames, the blue-silver prison that bound Wang Kai was almost instantly burned to ashes, and Wang Kai was instantly freed. Even if Tang San's martial soul wasn't ordinary blue-silver grass, but the legendary Blue-Silver Emperor, the Blue-Silver Emperor was only a plant. It couldn't resist Shura's demonic flames at all. How is this possible? Looking at Wang Kai's actions outside of his body, Tang San's eyes flickered with fear. His blue-silver prison could even trap Zhao Wuji for a short period of time without using his martial soul true body, but it was destroyed like a thin piece of paper in front of Wang Kai. It's useless. Take another one of my attacks. Eyes flashing with fighting spirit, Wang Kai pushed all of his soul power and Shura's demonic flames to the maximum. He used the momentum of his first attack to attack Tang San. I can't take this attack head-on. Looking at the spear that Wang Kai was thrusting towards him, Tang San's eyes flashed with graveness and even fear. If Wang Kai's previous spear strike was said to be a probing attack, then this spear strike was an all-out attack. If it hit Tang San, then even if he had the protection of the 8-spider spear, he would still lose without a doubt. Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track. However, Tang San was also a battle-hardened soul master, and he also had the experience of living 2 lives. Facing Wang Kai's attack, Tang San didn't panic. Instead, he suddenly twisted at a strange angle when the spear shadow was close to him, and escaped from Wang Kai's lock. I knew you'd do that. Seeing this, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with a sinister smile. Then, he suddenly changed his attack. Shura's Dragon Slayer spear suddenly changed direction in midair, and then swept it towards Tang San's waist. How is this possible? Seeing Wang Kai's attack, Tang San was shocked and helpless. But he was in midair, and there was no way for him to dodge. He could only use his blue-silver tyrant spear to meet the attack. Bang! Following a crisp sound, the blue-silver tyrant spear bent at an extremely large angle due to the powerful force of the collision. Tang San's body was also sent flying out of the arena. Captain, looking at Tang San's figure, the other 5 freaks all revealed worried expressions. But at this moment, they were also locked in a fierce battle with a strong opponent, and were even being defeated one after another. There was no way for them to support Tang San, and they could only worry in their hearts. In the battle between Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Hu Laina, and Evil Moon, the demonic demon and the netherworld white tiger were fighting in midair. The black and white netherworld white tiger's figure and the demonic demon's strange blood-colored figure wreaked havoc in midair. Violent soul power and violent winds from the fierce collision spread in all directions. Although Evil Charm itself was not a martial soul fusion skill that relied on strong combat power, Hu Laina and Evil Moon were stronger than Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing. Therefore, the 2 products of martial soul fusion skills formed by the 4 of them were locked in battle, and it was difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. In the battle between Yin and Ma Hongjun had fallen into a state of complete suppression. Although Ma Hongjun's martial soul, the evil phoenix, was very strong, Yan's martial soul was the Flame Lord, and was even more terrifying than Ma Hongjun. Furthermore, Yin was an entire rank higher than Ma Hongjun. Even though Ma Hongjun was supported by Ning Rongrong, his strongest skill, the Phoenix Sky Whistle, only left a few faint white marks on Yan's body. It couldn't hurt Yin at all. On the contrary, Yin only used his first soul skill, the Flame Impact, to severely injure Ma Hongjun. Therefore, Ma Hongjun could only use his 3rd soul skill, the Phoenix Sky Soar, to continuously dodge Yan's attacks. He was battered and exhausted. It was only in the final battle between Xiao Wu and Yu Hao that Shrek Academy's team was able to gain a slight advantage. Although Xiao Wu's rank was lower than Yu Hao's by a rank, Yu Hao's martial soul was relatively ordinary. On the other hand, Xiao Wu had Ning Rongrong support. Her movements and attacks were also incomparably strange. In terms of strength, she actually suppressed Yu Hao. The few attacks that Xiao Wu launched caused Yu Hao to suffer some light injuries. However, after suffering a few losses, Yu Hao had become even more careful and no longer took the initiative to attack. As a result, Xiao Wu could only be anxious, unable to help her teammates. Looking at Tang San, who had been sent flying, she was also powerless. She could only silently pray for him in her heart. Chapter 263. Fine. Tang San's body was flung out of the stage by the immense force. Just when everyone thought that Tang San was about to leave the stage in defeat, Tang San suddenly channeled his soul force, and his first soul ring flashed behind him. Suddenly, a strand of spider silk flew out from Tang San's hand and stuck to the netherworld white tiger's body. After that, Tang San pulled. With the support of the spider silk, Tang San's body leapt up and returned to the stage. Only then did the other 6 freaks relax. At this moment, Wang Kai charged forward once again. He suddenly appeared in front of Tang San, and then fiercely stabbed with his spear. Open! Seeing the blood-colored spear speeding towards him, Tang San could only grit his teeth and raise his spear. He could not lose this battle. Dreams were beautiful, but reality was cruel. No matter how much Tang San wanted to win, the difference in strength between him and Wang Kai was obvious. If he couldn't even block Wang Kai's first attack, how could he compare to him now? As Wang Kai struck out with his spear, the pressure on Tang San increased. Every time he retreated, the distance he was forced to retreat further and further. Even if he used all his strength to stab the 8th spider spear into the ground of the stage, it was useless. At the same time, Tang San's internal organs were severely damaged with every collision. If Tang San hadn't stumbled upon a few treasured medicines in the Great Stardow Forest, he would have fainted a long time ago. However, even though Tang San was still conscious, he was like a lone boat in a storm. He could sink at any time. It's over. Boundless blood spear art. After repeated confrontations, Wang Kai's spear force had finally condensed to the 49th level. At this time, there was no need for him to wait any longer. Instead, he gathered all the previous 48 spear forces together. Then, he aimed at Tang San and thrust his spear out like a dragon. As Wang Kai attacked, Wang Kai's essence, energy, and spirit converged into one. A blood-colored dragon with a diameter of 2 meters and a length of more than 20 meters shot out from the tip of Shura's dragon-slaying spear. It carried boundless and terrifying power as it flew across half the stage towards Tang San. What frightening power! Even though he had seen Wang Kai use the boundless blood spear art before, Tang San only realized the true power of this spear when he faced it. In front of this ferocious blood-colored dragon, Wang Kai felt as if he couldn't control his body. Even his soul couldn't help but tremble. At this moment, Tang San felt a sense of defeat. Tang San could clearly feel that Wang Kai's skill wasn't something he could match. Captain Dai Mu Bai and Zhu Zhuqing, who had transformed into the netherworld white tiger, wanted to rush to Tang San's aid, but they were stopped by Evil Moon and Hulaina, who had unleashed their bewitching charm martial soul fusion skills. Xiao Wu also wanted to rush to Tang San's aid, but she was stopped by Evil Moon and Hulaina, who had used her invincible golden body soul skill. However, Sulan rushed over at that moment and cooperated with Yu how to completely seal off Xiao Wu's movements. I can't lose. Even though there was a trace of fear in his heart, Tang San's eyes were filled with determination as he looked at the terrifying blood-colored dragon that was shooting towards him. He wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. He would use all the methods he could think of to defeat the opponent in front of him. Binding spiderweb. Bind. Blue-silver prison. Tang San frantically poured out all the remaining soul power in his body. Relying on his multitasking ability, he set up countless defenses in front of him. After that, he placed the blue-silver tyrant spear and the 8 spider spear in front of his chest. At this moment, the blood-colored dragon arrived. The outermost layer of blue-silver grass was the first to come into contact with the blood-colored dragon. After that, the binding spiderweb emitted a green light. Following that, it also shattered in an instant. The blood-colored dragon's speed and energy didn't decrease in the slightest. Then came the 10 layers of blue-silver cage in front of Tang San. This soul skill came from a 10,000-year underground demon spider. It was incomparably tough and could even trap a soul emperor. However, in front of Wang Kai's blood-colored dragon, the first blue-silver cage was instantly shattered. Next came the second layer, the third layer, the 10th layer. In the face of the blood-colored dragon's attack, which was comparable to the full-strength attack of a mid-tier soul sage with his martial soul true body, the 10 layers of blue-silver cage were destroyed in less than a second. The blood-colored dragon's speed and energy had only been reduced by 20%. After that, it was Tang San's turn to use the blue-silver tyrant spear. Although the blue-silver tyrant spear was Tang San's fifth soul skill and was stronger than the blue-silver prison, it was still destroyed in less than half a second by the blood-colored dragon's attack. It was reduced to specks of particles that dissipated into the air. After the blue-silver tyrant spear was destroyed, the blood-colored dragon's strength was also reduced by a little. However, it still shot toward Wang Kai's chest with unparalleled force. At this moment, a man in gray robes suddenly stood up and stared at the soul dueling stage in front of the pontiff's palace. His eyes burned as if he would explode at any moment. The moment the blue-silver tyrant spear was destroyed, Tang San's body moved. He frantically gathered the remaining soul power in his body into the 8th spider spear on his back. Tang San knew that this was his last chance, and also his only chance. Wang Kai's attack had already completely locked onto him. At this point, any evasive techniques were already useless. Only by going all out could he obtain a sliver of a chance to survive. However, at this moment, a bold idea surfaced in Tang San's mind. Boom! With a thunderous explosion, the first 8 spider spear collided with the blood dragon created by Wang Kai's inorganic blood spear art, emitting an ear-piercing roar. Wang Kai's soul power was 9 ranks higher than Tang San's, and this attack contained the strength of Wang Kai's 49 spear strikes. Tang San had already expended a great deal of soul power in the previous battle, and his body was injured. The result of this collision was obvious. With a crisp crack, the first 8 spider spear in front of Wang Kai shattered into pieces, but at the same time, the 8 spider spear had blocked about 5% of the blood dragon's power, and its speed had gradually decreased. However, as the 8 spider spear shattered, a terrifying pain traveled into Wang Kai's body. Following that, he felt a sweet taste in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. As an external soul bone, the 8 spider spears were already a part of Tang San's body. They were like his own bones. How much pain did he have to endure after 2 of them were shattered? The intense pain caused Tang San's entire body to twitch. He felt as if his body didn't belong to him anymore, but he knew that he couldn't stop now. Borrowing the stimulation from the intense pain, Tang San's potential was completely stimulated. Waves of soul power flowed out from his body and followed Tang San's well into the remaining 8 spider spears.